Yo, what's up, what's up? Joel, please apply for a role for the new Fears to Fathom installation they're casting. Or how do I apply, Justin? Let's ask ChatGPT. How to apply for the new Fears to Fathom. Fears to Fathom. I'll check the latest. To apply, submit a story for the new Fears of Fathom. Known submission route is emailing your real-life scary story to Fears. Wait, what is Fears to Fathom? What are you talking about? What is Fears to Fathom? Is it a game? The completed Fears to Fathom analysis. Use Backstage. Can you do it for me? Can you be my manager and get me a job? Is my AC fixed? It is. Also, how's the mixing on my voice to music ratio? Is the music too loud? You want to have my voice? You can have it. Just be careful with it. Don't drop it. But my AC's fixed. Yeah. Thank God. We're good. We're Gucci again. The only annoying thing is that I'm fairly certain since my refrigerator was working like harder, it started leaking from the bottom. So hopefully it doesn't continue to leak, and it just might be a condenser sort of backed up blub schmub. It's annoying as hell. Anyways, how are you guys? The weather's nice. Is it nice where you're at? Music's a little loud. It is quite the vibe. A little bit of adult sim action. HVAC is such a scam. Do you think so? Like, you mean how much they charge for everything? Bunch of Boomba clots. What am I doing for my B-Day this year? I don't know. Do you guys got any ideas for B-Day stuff? Because, honestly, I can't really handle alcohol anymore. It makes me die quicker. It's raining over here. Hey there, it's sunny and beautiful here. The weather is not so nice here in SoCal because of the wildfire. Oh, damn. Do a gender reveal. Yeah, I just posted my wiener on Twitter, so you can go check it out. There's a video of Pradeep on my Instagram, at letsread.official. Probably one of my most famous videos of all time. I control his ear with my psychic abilities. With the command of my voice. Daniela Ramirez. Hi, Joel. We have the same birthday. We'll be turning 31. Happy birthday coming up. Nothing to be sad about, though. I see a sad emoji face. That's okay. Drink Red Bulls. Just drink multiple energy drinks till I'm dead. We called those guys to look at our AC one time, and the dude put tape over it. My partner said, well, I could have done that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, initially with the issue with my system, the two people they sent over the course of years literally had no idea what the fuck the sound was coming from it. Turned out to be just like a loose bearing, but it was a pretty big indication of like the DHW pump, I guess, or whatever, failing. And it wasn't until this third guy over the course of a long period of time, like, actually knowing what the fuck he's talking about. Host a baby shower in the back rooms. I'm gonna give birth in the back rooms. Jacob, welcome back for 51 months. I've been thinking about how I would like to go into the afterlife. Before I go into the afterlife, I would like to have a Jack and Coke. Hell yeah, dude. That's probably the most badass way to go, I think. One Jack and Coke, and then you go fight D-Day. Joel, do you think people who work out age slower? I know they age slower. Every study seems to indicate that people who have like good sleep, eat whole foods, do resistance training, like they have some of the, minimizing the aging effects on the body by quite a bit. Oh, anime and weirdness. I remember that. Yeah, what's up, Travis? And Melissa Jacobs, thank you for 5 New England checking in. When's your B-Day, Joe? Mine's Yours June 4th. Mine is, or June 1st. Mine is June 4th. So 3 days after yours. Pretty sick, huh? How we're just born into this existence and we have no clue what the fuck's going on. Even when we think we do. That's why Joel looks 15. Yeah, 15 plus 50. He thought looking young is genetics too. I mean, it plays into it, but I mean, like, people's, let me give you a better answer. Time to retire. Yes, Joe, you look pretty young these days, thanks. Everybody's staring through my window. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate for supple skin. So studies are pretty clear. The biggest controllable factors for looking young to prevent sun and UV damage. After that, it's not smoking, then retinoids, sleep health, body composition, and avoid big weight swings. Daily sun protection, don't smoke, use a retinoid. Retinoids are among the few topical anti-aging ingredients with real evidence, especially prescription tretinoin. They help with fine lines, pigmentation, irregularity, acne, and skin texture. Over-the-counter retinol can help, but prescription retinoids are generally stronger. Start low and slow, 2 to 3 nights per week. Moisturizer, sunscreen daily. Stay lean-ish, but not gaunt. Looking younger is not just skin, facial fullness matters. Getting very lean can make the face look older because you lose fat padding in the cheeks and under the eyes, but too much body fat can increase inflammation and worsen sleep and metabolic health. The younger look is probably muscular, lower waist, but not crash dieting. Sleep, diet, and no alcohol. There you go. Not sure how you get access to the retinoids. I guess you gotta talk to your doctor. Some DNA from the parents certainly helps. He found SPF 100 at Walmart. Nice. Hey, Connor Evans with the 10. Joe, been listening since 2023 through my work or my side business in lawn care. I take you with me every. Much love from South Georgia, brother. Pause. Thank you, Connor. No pause there. Full love. My gayest fan. He's my gayest fan, folks. I'm just kidding. We love our gay fans here. We love them. No, thank you so much, Connor. God bless you, bro. Yeah, and you need some SPF out there under the sun all day. Be sure you wear a big old hat, a neck cover, long sleeves that are thin, like you're a fisherman in Florida. Am I AI? I am not AI, no. I am a human being who sounds like a fucking robot, sadly. You can use ROC, has retinol in it. Okay, nice. Retinal hemorrhoids. There you go. That's where it all starts. Anyways, guys, thanks for being here. Let's kick this off, shall we? We got undercover cop stories. Let's get spooky. Joe, I'm warning you not to bully my son, Justin. I know he's a little weird, but overall good kid. Unfortunately, bullying is the only way he's gonna learn. What's up, Henry? Are you still going to bed by 12? Ish. I'm trying my best. Got a little bit of a slow start today. But, you know, I don't know. It kind of sucks, like, making that change. I don't know what happened exactly with the making of that change, but it kind of screwed the amount of notifications that go out for live streams. Maybe something else screwed it. I'm not really sure, but it is what it is. Thankfully, the videos are doing fine. So, that's really all that matters, I guess. And how many words tonight? I have no idea, honestly. Probably more than 3. Hey, the babes, what's up, dude? You should say words wrong like AI does, just throw people off. Does AI do that on purpose? They don't like Joel being opinionated. I mean, maybe? I don't know. I think the idea of censorship at this point is just so pointless. Like, it's just... Listen. Just do everything you want to do out in the open. No one's going to do anything anyways. The government can start sending the robots out to shoot your grandmothers in the head, and I generally don't think many people would care that much. I never intended to be an undercover cop. My plan was to work enough time as a beat cop to make detective, and then work my way into financial crimes or something equally cushy. Do the full 25, make it out with a pension, and then hey, presto, I can play golf for the rest of my days. But life, as they say, had other plans for little old me. I was still in uniform when the city had a string of overdoses among high school kids in the early 2000s. Kids were dropping like flies and the department was getting crushed in the press, so Brass needed someone who could blend into the streets without looking like a cop, and they needed them quick. Now I was still young, kind of skinny looking, and having grown up on the streets, I knew how to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And not only did the job come with automatic promotion to detective, but the bonus pay they were offering was better than anything financials were about to offer me. I was also really sick of working uniform, clocking in and out like a regular Joe, and getting disrespected on the daily by just about everybody. And so, after weighing it up, I thought, screw it, and took the job. I worked Friday as usual, and then come Monday morning, my lieutenant pulled me into his office and said that he was sad to see me go. He knew where I was headed, so he wished me luck and told me to be careful. And then up I went to the 3rd floor, where my history as a police officer was officially expunged from the record. There was no big fanfare or anything, no pep talk or welcoming ceremony. Also, if anyone here is remotely interested, at some point we will begin the process of doing the movie review tier on Patreon. That's going to be about the $10 tier. Right now it's early access for one, $5 access for bonus content, and the $10 on Patreon is just going to be at least a bi-weekly movie review. Any advice on telling your 48-year-old cousin that alcohol is ruining his life? Yeah, you might just need may need to have an intervention with the whole family or some shit, bro. Maybe you can see who you can gather together and just do it. Puppet shows do not work for substance abuse awareness, so I wouldn't do that, but that sucks. I have an alcoholic in our family who just had to hit rock bottom. Yeah. Shit. I worked Friday as usual, then come Monday morning, my lieutenant pulled me into his office and said that he was sad to see me go. He knew where I was headed, so he wished me luck and told me to be careful. And then up I went to the 3rd floor, where my history as a police officer was officially expunged from the record. There was no big fanfare or anything, no pep talk or welcoming ceremony. They gave me a pager, a beat-up Civic with hidden compartments, and about 3 weeks of crash course training on how not to die. I grew my hair and beard out as they taught me how to build a legend, as they called it, and now I had to remember every single lie I ever told, because the streets have a long memory and a short fuse for liars and cheats. And then once I was ready, they dropped me in at the deep end. I became Mickey, a junkie from upstate who moved to the city for a regular fix. I spent the first couple of weeks scoping out all the high-intensity drug trafficking areas, learning who the players were, brushing up on the more contemporary street talk, and making sure no one recognized me as a cop. I obviously wasn't working the same neighborhoods as my days as a beat cop, but it's a small world, and I didn't want to get too close until I was sure that no one would clock me. But then once I'd established a presence, mostly by walking around pretending I was boosting and scoring, I was able to start making some moves. I was looking to get in with a local dealers. Joel, you don't even watch movies. Nice try. Don't even, Justin. Don't even. You remember the submission you read a long ass time ago about the woman truck driver who was driving, and I suppose I saw the people hanging from the bridge? I swear I can't. Oh, yeah, man, it's been forever. It sounds like something that would be like happened down in South America or something like that. So maybe it was like a Texas or South America or, you know, Mexico stories. You know what I mean? How's my voice acting going? It's, I guess, non-existent. Like, I could do it if it was in front of me, but I mean, like, I have no connections, no agents, no prospects, no jobs. I help with various little, like, you know, podcasts and stuff for, like, you know, like, help with Dark Somnium. I did some voice acting for that a wee bit. I feel like that went okay. But honestly, like, the YouTube is my job, and I'm fine with that. Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. Maybe it is trucker stories. I'm not sure. We're 120 days alcohol free. That's good. How do you pick what stories to tell versus not? I have editors who dig through them and try to find stuff that might fit a certain topic. Is the pod going to be with IRL friends or other narrators? Oh, it's going to be with, yeah, just some random friends. And, yeah, I'm hoping it goes well. Are you going to review Heated Rivalry? Yeah. We're going to review the entirety of the Boys series. Here's a quick TLDR for it. It stinks! It fucking stinks! And Eric Kripke's a retard! Ah! There you go. There you go. All of Hollywood is fucking up their own ass with their dumb, brainless interpretations of reality. What is the face triangle of death on? What is the face triangle of death on? I don't know. Brokeback Mountain is going to be Joel's first movie review. Yeah, it's a horror movie, right? It would be for me. It'd be terrifying having a boner for that many hours of a movie. I saw a big bee imposter. It's a fly that has the body of a bee, but it's striped eyes. Interesting. Okay, where the hell was I? I was looking at the... I was looking to get in with the local dealers, right? To figure out who was pushing bad dope onto good kids and causing this spat of overdoses. Now, I needed an angle, and together the team behind the scenes, this is what we came up with. I'd tell one of the corner guys that I had a solid connection for his boss, one that'd land them high-quality product at rock-bottom prices. And then when they inevitably showed interest, I'd tell them that my Marine Corps brother was in charge of the mail over there in Kandahar. And then when they inevitably showed interest, I'd tell them my Marine Corps brother was in charge of the mail over there in Kandahar, and he was shipping kilos upon kilos of Afghan heroin back to me in all these specifically marked packages that didn't get scanned. I was Mickey No Needles, with my legend being that I wasn't a total scumbag, so when I met with an underboss and made my proposal, he told me to come back with a sample. And then when that sample was satisfactory, I made a second proposal. I could get them a steady stream of that cheap Afghan dope, but I wanted into the organization so I could learn the tricks of the trade. When the dope ran... What's up, dudes? Thirst Child in May and everybody, what's going on? How's it going? Oh my god. It's Mickey No Needles here. Getting you that cheap Afghan dope. Can you give the movie review format? My thought process is like, since there's gonna be like 3 of us, I figured I would like kind of direct in some ways how we have the conversations per se, but I wanted to just give us each like 15 minutes each or whatever to just like discuss our overall thoughts where that individual is the primary focus of the conversation, though it should you know, flow pretty normally like with each other, but just so nobody's like, you know, getting overburdened by another reviewer, you know. Everybody gets their fair time to speak. I don't know. I guess we'll see as we go, so. Last Saturn Soul was good. Thank you, Jen. I wasn't really sure about I don't know how I felt about the thumbnail. And I think we're really going to try to, like, up the ante on, like, the editing. I hope so. I mean, we shall see. I could get them a steady stream of that cheap Afghan dope, but I wanted into the organization so I could learn the tricks of the trade. When the dope ran out, they were free to kick me to the curb if I wasn't pulling my weight and my money wasn't right. And with that, they agreed. I spent the next 6 months deeply embedded in one of the state's biggest dope-dealing networks, slowly earning more and more of their trust until I was able to start passing on information that would lead to arrests without making my new friends suspicious. Things went tremendously well in that time, and I learned a hell of a lot during that time as well. But probably the most important thing that I'd learned during that first stint that I spent undercover was not to fly too close to the sun. Not too soon, anyway. Because even when you think you've got a crew cracked and eating out of your palms, it only takes a touch of paranoia to put the entire operation in jeopardy. And in this case, it was a stroke of bad luck. The same day my info led to the arrest of one of the group's cash couriers, one of their stash houses was raided by the DEA. The raid was completely unconnected to my own department's UC ops, as the agents had been working on their own intel. But to my new friends, it looked an awful lot like a concerted effort, and that the info had come from an informant in their organization. Well, they were right. The leaks were coming from me. Just nothing which led to the raid on that house. But obviously that didn't matter to us or them, and the reality was that my days undercover were numbered. The backroom team didn't just pull me out, not even with the increased danger, because even with them being wise to my general presence, the presence of an informant or undercover meant the organization would be under pressure. And if they were under pressure, they'd make more mistakes, which in turn would lead to more arrests. They only wanted to pull me out once a kind of tipping point had been reached, when the threat to me outweighed the good all that paranoia was doing, and for a while, that tactic worked exactly as planned. And then one day, I got the call that pretty much ended my stint undercover. About the same time my character Mickey No Needles started to make serious money, the department rented an apartment for me. It was a crappy apartment in a crappy building, but that lined up with my character not giving a damn because he'd been homeless. To him, even a crummy apartment felt like a palace, and I didn't care if the plumbing was a little shoddy. Now anyways, one day a guy that I worked with called Pete had buzzed my apartment with 2 of his boys. This was pretty... 2 of his boys. Yeah, boss. 2 of his boys. Why does my phone press enter before I'm finished writing and then replaces words with nonsense words? I honestly think one of the biggest... Like, it's actually insane to me that, like, your phone has the technology to, like, read your mind and then, like, implant thoughts into your head, but somehow doesn't have the fucking ability to, like, appropriately do autocorrect or, like, read your mind and then just kind of anticipate what's actually going to be in there. I genuinely think the failures of autocorrect were created by the CIA specifically to, like, make you go slowly insane. Death by 1,000 spelling errors. Are these movies you see in theaters? They can be, but the first one we're doing is The Exorcist, which I did watch, and I won't spoil my review for it. Long story short, I liked it. I liked The Exorcist, and now I'm listening to the audiobook of it. Why aren't you standing in lines to get your squishy dumpling? Squishy dumpling. Is that the toy? There's like a toy, I forget what the toy's called, but is that the squishy dumpling you're talking about? You would think like kids being stoked about one particular toy would die down, but it really does seem like the dumbest consumers in the world are just forever, children. Like, if one of them likes it, like the coolest one at school that can do like a backflip likes it and is fast, then they all like it. It's mostly adults. That's what I don't understand. It's like, I get that they're doing the thing that you do with Pokemon where you're like scalping stuff, but what, like, are they collecting it? Are they hoarding it? Are they trying to just like secondary market sell it on eBay? Like, what the fuck are they doing? And why is that particular toy cool or interesting? I'll stop calling my workplace about that stupid dumpling. What about dumplings? I don't know. What's the dumpling toy? Pokemon TCG has been scalped as of this moment. Right, this is true. By me. The dumpling toy people are talking about is the Squishy Dumpling Bow Bun Stress Toy. Basically soft, squeezable, fidget toy. Oh yeah, it's the same trend as the Nido. That's what I was thinking it was, the Nido. Whatever, who gives a shit? We need to give kids tarot cards and Ouija boards again. This was a pretty regular occurrence, so it didn't raise any alarm bells. But then once we were sat down, Pete told me the good news. His bosses had found the rat. Moments like that either make or break you as an undercover, and I know guys who have talked their way out of trouble. Moments like that either make or break you as an undercover, and I know guys who have talked their way out of trouble whose performances would have won an Oscar had they been put to film. And so instead of so much as flinching, I kind of sighed with relief and said, "Finally," and then asked Pete who it was. But when he said the rat turned out to be some nobody who worked at a corner store somebody was slinging dope outside of, I didn't need to hide my surprise. No one was stupid enough to talk to the cops about the crew I'd infiltrated, especially not some Indian kid who worked a corner store for his uncle. They had a bad reputation and based themselves in a real... Most flowers are edible, maybe not tasty, just not toxic. It's easier to list the ones that aren't. I saw a lot of pansies, via violas, sunflower petals, and any veg bloomin' onion. Do other movie reviewers have good voices? The critical drinker. You know. Go away. Wait, what does he say? That's about all. Go away now. Or something, I forget what the ending is. Anyways, that's about all. Go away now. How old is your cat and what's his name? My cat is going to be 12 here soon, and his name is Pradeep. As in purring deeply. Have you heard of the human body Grabovoi codes? It's supposedly to manifest healing. The list is huge. Have you heard of the human body Grabovoi codes? Is it the ones where you think of like a deep purple or something in a specific area and it like heals you internally? Or is this something completely different? Wart. Have you seen a mushroom play the drums? No. I hope to see that though. Their numbers. Yeah, can you explain it to me? They had a bad reputation and based themselves in a real see nothing, know nothing kind of neighborhood, so right away the story didn't sound right to me. But Pete was insistent. In fact, the bosses had the kid tied to a chair in some basement downtown, beating the crap out of him while they got him to recount everything he told the cops. And they wanted everyone above street level there to see it. I just had to go with it, man. I knew that there was a chance that it might be a trap, and that it'd be me that had ended up tied to that chair, but coming out with some excuse as to why I wouldn't go would also look suspicious, so I had no choice. I carried a gun with me, so if things got sketchy, I could... sketchy. If things got squishy... I carried a gun with me, so if things got sketchy, I could always try defending myself before they got the straps on me. But my character would want to see this guy that was out to put him in jail, and he wouldn't be squeamish about seeing him get hurt either. And so I just went with it, put on a jacket, and got into Pete's car. Nothing he did or said made me think that I was about to get whacked. And, ironic as it may seem, criminals tend not to be the best liars. Those that are end up becoming defense attorneys. Am I right or am I right? And so by the time we got where we were going, I was fairly convinced that I was in the clear. And I was. Because there, sitting in the middle of this grimy old cabin, is some Indian kid. Could have been no older than 20, and he'd been beaten to a goddamn pulp. It was a tough thing to see, knowing that there was a good chance this kid was there for next to no reason. Maybe he said good morning to a cop and some extra paranoid dealer got it into his head that it was him who had been feeding them information. And there was no way of me knowing for sure. I never found out for certain if my new friend's hunch. My new friend's squinch. So the Grabovoi codes are numerical sequences created by Grigory Grabovoi, used as a manifestation tool to focus intention on specific goals like wealth, health, or love. Is he just like a scam artist, or what's the deal? Are you guys rich, healthy, and filled with love? I took a sleeping pill. Is there a way to reverse it? I want to stay up with y'all. Nah, don't reverse it. You don't want to have issues, do ya? You're gonna have to drink a Four Loko. Just kidding. There was no way of knowing for sure. I never found out for certain if my new friend's hunch had been correct, but the fact remained, it should have been me in that chair, and just standing in that room with those guys felt like holding a loaded gun to my head. The bosses had figured that the rat was someone on the inside, but even if he wasn't, they still wanted all the underbosses and captains there to get a first-hand look at what happened to traitors. The things they did to that poor kid will haunt me for the rest of my life, and the hardest thing I ever had to do was act like I was enjoying it. At least until the kid's inside started showing on the outside. And then, and only then, could I let a little of what I was really feeling shine through. They tortured that poor kid to death. There was no quick execution, no bullet to the head or blade to the throat. They beat and burned and tasered that kid until his body gave out, and he didn't wake up again. He passed out a whole bunch during, but they were always able to bring him around again with a taser and some kind of smelling salt someone had with them. But then one time he passed out and he just didn't wake up again, and that was all she wrote for that kid. Only in the movies do people do the right thing in those situations. Only the hero stands up and says me when their skin is on the game. Because in real life, only a gun to my mother's head would have pushed me to stop what was happening and tell them that it should be me in that kid's place. Because while it might have been hard to watch him die, the easiest thing in the whole world was keeping my mother effing mouth shut. When they were done with the kid, the bosses gave some speech about how we should expect the same thing to help us if we ever talked to the cops. And if our dealers or corner boys did the same, we were expected to do the same thing to them and make sure no one stepped out of line who didn't have a death wish to begin with. And then after that, when all was said and done, they sent us out on our way again. Pete was so shocked and grossed out by what he saw that he declined my dinner invitation when we drove back into the city. I wasn't feeling particularly hungry myself, but that wasn't the point. It was to make it look like I was, when I knew damn well that I'd say no to everything except a strong drink and a cigarette. I acted as cool as possible given the circumstances, much more of a someone finally took out the trash attitude than that poor kid attitude. Because even the guys Pete brought with him had these looks on their faces saying, why didn't they just shoot the kid already? That was disgusting. Pete dropped me back at my place. We made out in the car. Kermit the Frog, welcome back for 6 months. Joel isn't real. He is a CIA psyop or possibly a goblin chained to a chair forced to narrate for all eternity. I'm very close to discovering the truth. This is Audible. That's your Project Monarch activation phrase. At this time, by me saying, this is Audible, you should be nearing a ledge, and you should be walking the plank. to be joining Davy Jones' locker. Just kidding. Okay, do cyber genes dream of electric denim? To think stuff like this only happens in stories of the movie. I knew someone whose son got shot at a party IRL. Her son had just graduated too. Yeah, yikes. So the most I dealt with Undercover Cop was my 18th birthday. We were all shouting airsoft at each other, and they rolled up in a gold Taurus sedan in plain clothes. What did they want? Do you edit the audio for the live streams and use them in the videos to record stories later? No, I record to a separate microphone with a memory stick in it, and so I got 2 mics stacked on top of each other right now. Does Joel wear mom jeans? Yeah, I wear your mom's jeans. After I take her to church and give her her pills. I'm her nurse. I'm her live-in nurse. Pete dropped me back at my place saying that he had stuff to do, and then after lazily walking up to my steps, Pete dropped me back at my place saying that he had stuff to do, and then after lazily walking up my steps and giving him a wave to say thanks for the ride, I just about sprinted up the stairs to my second-floor apartment and called time on the whole operation. I was out in the field by the end of the day and debriefing with my backroom team about all the crap I'd seen, heard, and done when I wasn't wearing. Dude, there's no way, if you were part of a criminal organization, would it not make sense that, just naturally, wouldn't it make sense that just, naturally everybody gets tapped, right? You know, have Joey go in there and hey, we're going to keep an eye on so-and-so, and then you have him put some sort of recording device in your apartment somewhere. What is the next Saturn's Hall video going to be about and when? So it's every Tuesday, I think it's 7. Let me check, actually. Every Tuesday. Let's see. New videos every second Tuesday. 7 p.m. EST, so it's bi-weekly, bisexual weekly. Going through a rough patch in life right now, trying to keep my family intact. I love my wife and kids. I can't give up. Listening to Let's Read helps me the dark thoughts away. I'm sorry about that. Is Joel a Rachel McAdams type of guy or Scarlett Johansson type of guy? I don't even know. Rachel McAdams. I haven't seen her. I see her in all sorts of stuff, but I can't quite remember what I've seen her in. She looks so familiar. Let's see, Scarlett Johansson. Yeah, I mean, everybody in the world, honestly. If you're a celebrity, you're probably good looking. It's probably one of the main reasons they even picked you, believe it or not. Hollywood is so vain. So you don't re-record the stories for the videos, I understand. Yeah, so I'm basically doing takes right now, and then I edit those takes into a fully formatted video from a separate recording device. But I have a streaming mic right below it that is talking to you in your ear holes right now. I was out in the field by the end of the day and debriefing with my backroom team about all the crap that I'd seen, heard, and done when I wasn't wearing a wire. All stuff that I could provide personal testimony for in a court of law. The operation was a huge success, and we managed to put away a grand total of 23 criminals on the back of the work that I'd done. And that felt good, but it didn't do anything for the guilt that I felt. Because even though I'd helped put his killers behind bars, I still feel like I had that kid's blood on my hands, and no matter how much I try, I'll never be able to wash it off. You talking to me? You talking to me? I heard that Obsession movie was actually good. Did you guys... Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Joel, where is your typical live stream thumbnail from? Typical live stream thumbnail? The live stream thumbnail. Well, you mean what you're seeing on the background right now? Because that's from Robin Mickelson. He does all the visuals. Visuals. How many stories tonight? I think we got 4. The colorful one. Let me click on the colorful one. I mean, because right now, like, the live stream just shows, like, the background you see as, like, the thumbnail, so I don't really know what you mean. Or do you mean, like, after the fact? Because sometimes it shows, like, the outro screen. And the outro, like, screen with the vending machine is just from a video that Robin made for the outro specifically. Oh, the waiting one with me on the rocket. Yeah, everything's from Robin. Like, he's just the G. The G with the alphabet. New background commissioner, the astronaut guy on the beach for summer. Yeah, he said he was working on something for a loop for summertime, so hopefully he gets that to me soon. And then we can have a whole new vibe. Let's Read in King Spook collab when? I would collab with King Spook if he came back, but sadly I think he has retired from YouTube. I'm just outliving them all. We've outlived King Spook, we've outlived Corpse Husband, we've pretty much, they just didn't have the stamina, unlike me, they didn't have it. Alex, thank you for the 51 months, says, hey Joel, hope you're doing well and are not affected by a lot by the recent demonetization of horror narration channels. Thankfully not, man. I mean, it's a very confusing time for all that kind of stuff, but I don't know, man. It would be very, very lame it to happen, and I hope it doesn't, and I hope they cut it out. Cut it out! But it's also weird, because you just, like, don't have any control over anything. You just realize, like, even me with 1.36 million subscribers, you know, I don't really have, like, a big live stream, right? It's 200 people watching right now. It's not, like, wild. My viewership, you know, some of my videos gets out there, but I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do. You know, I could, like, mention it, I guess, in a video and then say, go support these people over on their Twitters to, like, help make a stink and get attention. But wait, Darkness Prevails got demonetized? No way, bro. That can't, because that couldn't, right? I'm holding creepypasta writing contests. Okay, he probably wouldn't be holding contests if his shit got demonetized. He's about to? What do you mean he's about to? Joe's a whole team. He's a legit businessman. I'm a businessman. Everybody viewership is like 1 to 10% of their sub numbers, I believe. Yeah, usually it's something along those lines. I mean, most of the views, believe it or not, on the channel come from, like, suggested views, which is, like, literally just YouTube deciding that they have found an audience for this video and then give you said audience. So it's, like, it's quite frustrating to think that, like, every aspect of your success is kind of predicated on an algorithm that seems seemingly random. Is this the calling? It's because y'all can't possibly read too many exposing stories. The government's behind this. I don't really know. We don't really do exposing stories. It's mainly just random people's drama in their real life or whatever. The U.S. government exposed. Jared Kushner exposed. The Antichrist. Mr. Nightmare, I mean, there's no way in God's green earth that Mr. Nightmare's channel would ever get demonetized. He's, like, you know, getting, like, 1 million views per video, kinda. What's up, Troy? I gotta get a proper word processor to write out my remaining stories. Submit Ugh. Proper word processor? What do you mean? You could just, if you have a Google, you can just use, like, Google Word or whatever it is. Google Type. Google Type shit. Did you hear about the plane from France headed to Detroit that was diverted to Canada with an Ebola scare? Oh my god. Ebola scare? What the fuck is going on, bro? They want to do everything to, like, mitigate travel. It's so fucking insane. Does the world ever chill out? Is there ever a time where, like, things just get futuristically awesome and perfect? What type style of denim do you Americans wear? Americans? What are you fucking talking about, Misty? You can't call. Canadians can't call Americans Americans. You guys are pretty much just us, but colder. YouTube kids showing 3-year-olds horror stories. Yeah. Like my buddy's daughters are like obsessed with horror shit. It's so funny. The youngest one always says like, I want to watch white figure movie or white figure videos. It's because like every one of the videos always says like, and then I saw a white figure. They already have a cure for Ebola. Why is there a scare? I don't know. Who fucking knows, man? But this Ebola is different. It's evolved. They evolved it in the lab. COVID showed it was cool for everyone to lose their collective shit, so it's fun now. Yeah, we just gotta go nuts nonstop about everything all the time. Forever. My name's Rowan, and I live here in the Netherlands with my wife and 2 young children. I have a nice life, and I'm grateful for it, and to look at me, you might never suspect that I went to prison for 8 years on charges of drug trafficking and brandishing a deadly weapon. But I did, and since enough time has passed that I don't mind telling the story anymore, I figured you and you viewers might like to hear it. Now, I never planned on being a trafficker. I didn't need it either. I only started after a friend named Hans talked me into it, and because it brought a little bit of excitement to my very meaningless existence. Hans, myself, and a friend of ours named Wim were all university graduates and had settled into the 9-to-5 routine for a few years already. And then one day, Hans's girlfriend called us with some bad news. He'd been into asset trading for quite some time, we just didn't know how deep he really was. And so when we found out that he'd lost almost €250,000 when the stock markets crashed, we were shocked. Hans fell into a deep depression and had to take some time off of work. Now, he wasn't himself for this whole period, and it was very sad to see, but then one day, he came back. And at first he said he was just feeling better and that the medication that he'd been taking had done its job, and he wanted to return to work. But I didn't believe it, and neither did Wim. It didn't seem like Hans was better so much as his symptoms had changed. He got very busy and became very secretive, so much that his wife thought that he was having an affair until he let her in on his little secret. I don't know what talked her into it. Hans Gruber. Who's the musician, the soundtrack artist for Interstellar? Hans. What was his name? Hans something. Dun 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 dun. Stop sniffing rat urine. Make me. Hans Zimmer. That's right. Hans Zimmer. Is anyone gonna see the Schmodyssey? I was stoked when I was at my friend's place and saw like 20 bats at once. Normally I have a bunch, but not more than a few times. That's cool. Yeah, bats are pretty awesome. I remember my friend had there was an outhouse, but it was one of those old ass outhouses that they never touched on their property in years and years. And the bats at dusk would fly from their attic all the way down to that outhouse and just go back and forth, and I thought that was pretty sweet. The Odyssey is insult to the OG movie. I was very confused because I remember there was a brief advertisement for it a while back, and I don't remember it having weird casting choices, but now it's just got, that seems to be what's going to be kind of mitigating its success. I don't know. I don't even know why, you know what I mean? I don't even know what the point of having kind of weird and random casting choices really is, because I mean, it's one of those movies that you would, and I always thought of what's his name, Christopher Nolan or whatever, as just one of those directors who doesn't really get involved in the sort of ideological wars, just kind of makes a movie and does it. I mean, I guess you don't know till you see it kind of thing, but at the same time, I mean, I don't have like wildly high hopes. Hey Joel, this is so irrelevant, but can I ask what program you use to record and edit this as a live, considering the transcription for editing, I'm assuming? So like I said before, I'm streaming this, right, which I use Streamlabs OBS, and then but then I record into another microphone, and then I use those files in Sony Vegas, and then I bring it over to Audacity to remove the background noise, bring it back into another form of Sony Vegas to like edit the video and render the video, and then I put it into a program called Handbrake to compress the video down to a smaller size without losing quality, and then I upload it to YouPoop. It's a Hollywood trend right now. But my only assumption is, since like it really seems like most of Hollywood has not learned anything from like catastrophic like failures in the market, that most of this has to just be like tax write-offs or something. Or like there has to, you know what I mean? Because like usually money talks, you know what I mean? So like it's just, I don't know, it's just very weird. Are my friends attractive? Yeah, I have some pretty attractive friends. My one friend was a model for like most of college. He looked a lot like Edward from the vampire bullshit movie. Got some hotties out there. My friend caught a bat in a blanket at a sleepover once, just put him back outside. Yeah, that seems to be the technique. Good evening from North Alabama, Big Fear content. Thank you, Katrina. Good to see you. He got very busy and became very secretive, so much that his wife thought that he was having an affair until he let her in on his little secret. I don't know how he talked her into it. Maybe all she was interested in was the money, but after a little more planning, Hans let me and Wim in on his secret too. He was going to make his money back by selling ecstasy tablets. We thought Hans had gone completely crazy, but he hadn't, and far from it in fact. The thought of making all that money back dragged him back from the brink of sanity, and then since Wim was chronically unemployed, despite his qualifications, he didn't need much convincing either. It was me that needed the most convincing, but not only had Hans laid out what seemed to be a foolproof plan, but it all just seemed so incredibly exciting. Now, I might not have been struggling for money, but I was very much struggling with a lack of excitement in my life. I had a very demanding job, and fortunately one that paid very well, but exciting it was not. And being confined to this very gray and flavorless lifestyle, it sort of nurtured a kind of rebelliousness in me. Now, at the time, I didn't recognize the rebelliousness. Rebellious. Have you guys had birds attack your windows lately? No. Prove a disconnection with real... What is it? Provide a disconnection with real people or just that sweet BlackRock bonus. Yeah, dude, that's what I've been saying forever. I don't know. That's what I'm curious. Like, so for the longest time, I realized that the majority of the reason why so much of media, both video games, television networks, movies, all that kind of stuff, had become what was basically pushing political ideologies and feeling very disconnected from the majority of American audiences and worldwide audiences, was this concept called ESG, which stood for Environmental Social Governance, which was like a weird subjective determining thing from BlackRock, the major investment company that controls like $40 trillion worldwide, right? And so basically it was like BlackRock's way of blackmailing any various company to kind of like subjectively push whatever political goal or agenda they had at the time that could change at any moment and randomly be determined. And it determined the company's access to future investment dollars, right? So like if you're allocating for investment money or money that you will invest in for the coming years, you kind of have to make sure that that money is available to you and your company. And so you basically just have like random auditors that come around and subjectively determine, from most likely getting their wieners sucked or something, some dumb shit, or showing them a few pictures of rainbow flags or whatever you want, you know what I mean? Like the most superficial, nonsensical, who gives a shit stuff ever that literally no one cares about. Then that person determines for BlackRock that you are good to go. And but I'm still wondering if that's still the case. But basically what ends up happening is like you get these short-term investment dollars that make up a lot of money, but I think it ends up obviously disconnecting you from your audience, and then you lose the consumer side. But the further you lose the consumer side, the more you become reliant upon like BlackRock to get money to stay afloat, right? And then on top of that, BlackRock like owns probably like 1/3 of most of the, you know, stock market. And if your stock is like publicly traded, whether it's Disney or Target or whatever, if you don't take their little bribe, they can pull their 1/3 out of the stock market and then completely begin a cascade of your stock's value, so they can just completely tank you. But it's honestly such a brilliant maneuver if you really think about it, because once you disconnect from the actual value that even objectively means anything, which is the consumer, over time they become more and more reliant upon the social credit score of these banks of BlackRock, and then eventually they'll fail, right? The company is going to fail or default on its loans, and then BlackRock can buy up this, you know, consolidate these companies through however means they want to go about it, but most likely for like pennies on the dollar. In my mind, that's how I would see it play out. But the question is like, you know, are these ESG funds, are they still present? Are they still relevant? I'm not really sure. Assumedly so, if like, unless everybody in Hollywood is truly just like that, captured by like the most meaningless ideological pushes one could conceptualize. Yeah, I'm just talking about volcanic rock right now. Anyways. J.G. Wentworth. Yeah, we need to all start investing with J.G. Wentworth. I don't know. My big hope is like at some point, you know, in the same way that within the video game market, indie game developers are able to compete with major AAA developers. I just wish somewhere in the movie world that we could compete with Hollywood. But it's really hard to compete with Hollywood because it's like they have all the technology, they have the funding, they have the actors, they have the big names. Like that stuff still really carries a lot of weight, as well as the distribution of things and the licensing. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you can't just jump on Steam and put your movie there. I mean, maybe you could. Maybe that's a market. Oh my God, actually. Maybe that's a market that Steam really needs to start pushing, or Valve rather, needs to start pushing like indie movies, so that an entire like massive market of like independent movie filmmakers could get their shit out there and get like more prevalently seen, you know? AI will defeat Hollywood. I mean, I guess that's true. But I mean, that's the thing, is you're just gonna, if AI wins, you're just gonna get the most slop. Well, no, maybe that's not true. Maybe the independent filmmakers can use AI to their benefit. Perhaps. I don't know. Nobody has the attention span for a movie. I think most people do. Honestly, I think pretty sure like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, like the numbers just keep going up on the amount of movies that each generation sees yearly. I'm pretty sure that Gen Z sees like 6 movies a year, as well as like Gen Alpha, which is a lot of movies, honestly, in a theater a year. So somebody check me on that, but I thought I heard that the other day. And yes, I don't really watch movies frequently, but when I do, it's a good time. At the time, I didn't recognize that rebelliousness for what it really was. a desire to self-destruct. But along with a sense of camaraderie between myself, Hans, and Wim, there was a real sense of all these bankers broke the rules, ruined lives, and got away with it. Why shouldn't we make a little money selling pills to the English? In comparison, selling ecstasy was awesome. Sorry, what the hell was that? What's up, Moon? It's Susie Q. I haven't watched a Hollywood movie in years, not interested in anything they have to offer, not Mummy 4, Brendan Fraser is something I want to see. And that should be interesting, but who knows, man. There really isn't anything in Hollywood that I've given a fuck. I remember, you remember when, the Barbie and Oppenheimer sort of, viral marketing took off, and, they're comparing it back and forth, what are you going to see, blah, blah, blah. And it was I saw Oppenheimer, and I just, genuinely, it was fine, but it was also just, I'm never going to fucking watch that again. And then I watched the Barbie movie once, and it was I'm never going to watch this again. And it was just alright. There it was. The big ones come and go so quick. In comparison, selling ecstasy was infinitely more honest to me. And the work went like this. Me and Wim would take turns driving from Amsterdam to the Czech Republic. It was a 16-hour round trip, and there we would pick up shipments of raw MDMA organized by Hans before driving back into Holland for sorting and pressing. And then once we'd turned the powder into pills, we'd work with one of 2 fishing vessels and smuggling the packages into English waters, where it would be met by local distributors and packages would be exchanging hands. We kept things simple, discreet, and very profitable. And then with Hans and our fishing boat doing all the hard work, all Wim and I had to do. Pim. Oh, Pim and I had to do. Come on, Pim. Oh, yes, Pim. Ryan Gooseling. I got 3 tickets to Dune Part 3 and IMAX 70mm. Bought them ahead of time. That should be fun. Do I look like Ryan Gosling? Yeah, we're pretty much twinks. Together. Then, with Hans and our fishing boat doing all the hard work, all Wim and I had to do was go on a road trip every 2 weeks and bring back some nice Czech lager along with 10 kilos of product. 16 hours in a long drive, but we got to collect obscene amounts of cash for 1 day's work every 2 weeks, which, as you can imagine, we were very happy about. It was all so simple, at least until one day when things got complicated. Wim was meeting with the captain of the fishing boat that we were working with, and so the captain could hand over a shipment of cash from England. Now, they were followed by a group of Moroccans who were targeting drug dealers, beaten very badly and then relieved of almost 60,000 euros worth of British currency. It was a disaster for us, a huge setback, because not only had we lost all that money, but we had to change all of our routines. British. A fucking British. They got us, mate. A fucking Somali pirates. Am I wearing joggers? That's a racist term. Elon was kind of cute in his early 20s before greed distorted his face. I think it's probably all the ketamine and Jersey Mike's. So your friends ever compliment you? Do my friends compliment me? They do, honestly. I'm not even joking. It's kind of weird. It's not weird, I guess. I appreciate my guy friends saying it, but quite a few of them call me a handsome devil. Maybe they're calling me a devil, those bastards. But they do compliment me on my... Maybe it's kind of like when your mom sees you and wants to pinch your cheeks. Your face ones. Can I need a shout out to Selena, the better half of Anime Awareness. Shout out, Selena. Hope you're doing good. They're trying to slide into my wallet. Yeah, they're trying to slide into my ass cheeks, probably. It was a disaster for us, a huge setback. But not only had we all lost that money, we had to change all of our routines and find another fishing boat to work with, which was not easy. We also had to expand the organization somewhat and find somebody who was capable of preventing a similar recurrence. What we needed was a criminal security guard. And as you can imagine, this was also not easy to find, and Hans had to do a great deal of interviewing in order to find the right guy. He obviously had to be very discreet, but he wasn't simply there to fight off any robbers. He also needed to be intimidating enough that his presence would deter any robbery attempts. And it was by this logic that he decided on a man named Dennis. According to Hans, Dennis was an ex-con, well known in the criminal underworld and most importantly, a former weightlifting champion. But it was his reputation among Dutch criminals which drew Hans's attention. Because for some reason, anyone who ever crossed Dennis or worked against his interests ended up dead or in prison, making him an asset worth paying for, even if it did put a major dent in our profits. We managed to find another fishing boat crew to work with too, captained by a man named Niels, and for the next 18 months or Niles, maybe Niles? Do your female friends compliment me? Let's think. Do my female friends compliment me? I remember my buddy's wife, like I went over there and I had just gotten, a fresh barbarian done, and she immediately was like, "Oh my gosh, so handsome. So handsome." I was like, "Thanks. Thanks." And I had a little propeller hat and like a lollipop in my butt. "Thanks so much." But I don't, to be honest with you, I don't have like a ton of just female friends that I hang out with on the reg. Probably because they're all buried. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. Probably just because things get complicated. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, folks? Hey. I can't keep the mouth shut. Hey. Just kidding. All right. Nils. Oh, wait. Nils? Nils Henning Ørsted. Do you get a lot of female compliments? No. Nobody really comes up out of, like, I don't know. It'd be sweet. It'd be cool if, like, it was just insanely uncontrollable for a woman that needs to say something, But I don't really see women go out of their way to compliment really anybody, if that makes sense. Like, I guess if there was like a male stripper there, they could be like, woo woo, and like squeeze his bulge or something. I don't know. But to me, it's like there's always the meme where it's like you go to the gym, right? And you try to work this particular body. You work it well, right? But you end up just getting more compliments from like other men than you do like the people you're searching after. But yeah, I don't know. Guys are always much more like confident and like just having conversations in general, and going a bit further, like, "Bro, you're looking good, man. Dude, you look good. I'm happy for you, bro. Like, they're looking good, bro. Let me fucking, oh my god, let me clean your pants. Let me just fucking lint roll this shit for you right here, right at the seam." Women are way more self-conscious. Yeah, I mean, it's fine, Like, if you can kind of if you get somebody's eyes looking at you, like, that's all you really need, right? If you get someone like staring at you, like they want to, like, pretty much there's only really two reasons why somebody wants to stare at you. They want to fuck you, or you pose some degree of a threat. Or maybe you pose no threat and you're just like, ripe for the plucking. Oh, glutes seem so firm. Those pecs, oh my god, so big, bro. What's your routine? Can I help you? Can I train you? You should come over later. I'm gonna cook you spaghetti. Hubba. That would be just like the gay Sopranos. Hey, Tone. Let me kiss you. What's up, Timmy? You just love looking at people. Me too. Honestly, I stare way too much. And like once you find someone to like fixate upon, it's so hard to just like, I'm so not good at just like throwing a quick glance to get a peek and doing some analysis in my head and just saving that information or whatever. Like, I just got to keep looking. Like, I'm like, oh, that's a, wow, look at that guy, girl. Okay, I'm going to keep looking. All right, I'm going to look again. I'm going to wait a little bit. Oh, they saw me and looked at me. I'm going to look back. And then I just keep fucking, I'm like a dog on a leash, like pulling on, you know, you're pulling on it, but the dog is standing on 2 legs now. I'm literally bad Santa. I'm like Saruman looking through the Palantir at everybody's existence. I wish I could walk up to someone and say, I love you. Me too, man. Like, honestly, like, there's just, I wish I could read people's minds. Just so you fucking, like, knew. You know what I mean? Just so you knew. Like, oh, that girl over there looked at you, and you have, like, somewhat feelings, like, and if you just, like, there was some way to interpret the brain in, like, such a quick fashion that you just could, you know, it's kind of like, remember, like, when you go into that, like, what's that system in Fallout where it shows, like, percentages based on the target you're trying to shoot? I forget what that system's called, but, like, it shows, like, 80, the VAT system, thank you. Yeah, I wish you could just, like, see, you could look at a person, it slows down time and, like, covers their body with, like, a, you know, a green a green fill meter, and then it shows, like, 99% chance of success if you were to go up and shoot your shot with this person right now, but you don't. You just have to fucking cast your net and hope that they don't hit you over the head with a hammer. I had a guy walk out of a store and told me he loved me while I was on the bus. I blew him a kiss. Oh, that sounds nice, actually. Dang. Maybe you guys should have hung out. Well, even if you didn't like him, I feel like it probably made him feel good that you were nice to him and stuff. Because, like, I know a lot of women might like to think that every dude's just, like, some rapist thug. You know what I mean? But, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, like, every man was, like, a little boy at one point with those same type of, like, little boy insecurities, and it's not like every one of them are like some, you know, war-torn monster who's, you know, wears ears around their neck from Vietnam or some shit. Like, everybody just wants love. My recent relationships have got me learning about polyamory. I don't know if it's for me, but people seem way more comfortable telling someone they love them. Yeah, just make sure if you get into a polyamorous relationship that you cover your body in lots and lots of grease. Because they always seem to be very oily, the whole bunch. And make sure you go by the name, like, Leaf. Change your name to Leaf, and then there's going to be somebody in your polyamorous group named Oga, and then there's going to be Stan. Stan's kind of his own guy, you know what I mean? Take him or leave him, really, but he feels the same way towards you, so that's why you're, like, attracted to him, because he's just kind of doesn't care. Do I like it when girls wear glitter? Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like the glitter shit is, like, you know that they mean business, I suppose. But I only ever see the glitter usage under the eyes in, like, a very, like, that's like a serious night for them, like some sort of ballroom attendance. May I ask you a question? Any advice for pursuing RN school? Yeah, you should do it. It's a good job, and you can travel anywhere once you get it, and there's always the ability to move up in that field, and there really is going to continue to be a strong need for nurses. I don't see that being replaced by AI, because really being a nurse is more about being a warm body, you know what I mean, that can, you know, handle shifts and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just be prepared when you go to nursing school that school is going to be your primary focus for a while. It's not as hard as med school, you know, obviously, but it's still very difficult, and just try your best. Don't go out partying, you know, whenever you know you need to study. Understand that you probably are going to have to study way more than you ever did previously, and that's fine. You just get it done. Nurses do rock. I had a glitter fall out of a B-Day card 10 years ago. It's still in there. Yeah, it's just like basically microplastics shoved onto every crevice. I got offered one time a poly. My crush was like, I like you. I want you to be in my poly. My face went from yay to what the fuck. See, that to me is, I don't know. There's something kind of sick about that where they're like trying to convince you to join their weird little cult. You know what I mean? Like they're weird. Hey, want to join our disgusting orgy where the other part of this menage a trois is actually fucking riddled with herpes and HPV and fucking AIDS, and they also have a mild drug habit and they can't pay rent, but the good news about this relationship is that they'll let you do their dishes. And you can take care of their cat too. Isn't that exciting? But remember the poly cult you read about where it was one girl and like 5 guys? No, but that sounds like a perfect life. Oh, she was the cult leader. Oh my god. That's awesome. AKA she was a bad bitch. What do you think is harder to clean up, glitter or sand? Either way, all of that's still stuck in between my crotch somewhere. I prefer to read people's futures somehow. They may not know automatically. You won't be rejected. Might be the only with some of us, but many issues. One going to be paired for good or bad. I don't know why. I've had a little bit of a stroke reading that, so I'm sorry. I haven't experienced poly invitation, but there was a lesbian. Who was trying to convince me to be one as well and kept hitting on me. I told her like eggplant. She hit you? A lesbian hit you? Not good, folks. If you get hit by a lesbian, you turn into one every moon. How do you say this guy's name again? Nils. Okay. We figured it out. We managed to find another fishing boat crew to work with, captained by a man named Nils, and for the next 18 months or so, everything ran smoothly again, until we ran into 2 quite concerning problems. The first occurred when 2 little upstarts decided to try and rob us again. Now he figured that they were connected to the Moroccan crew who robbed us the first time, but that second time, it did not go well for them. They used a fake pistol and a kitchen knife and tried to corner me as I came out of a public toilet at a service station. Dennis was standing some way away smoking a cigarette, and I think maybe the boy thought that he'd left and it was their time to strike. Well, it was not, and recognizing the gun to be a decommissioned replica, Dennis knocked out the knife. What's up, Melissa? Melusa? Neil Diamond, we're coming to America. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Nursing school was rough. It was gearing us for real like nursing, which is also rough in different ways. I burned out after 20 years and I'm a flower farmer. Hell yeah, dude. I burned out after 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17... probably like 6-7 years, but just because I got fucking lucky with YouTube. Oh, 6-7 years. 6 motherfucking 7 motherfuckers. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, flower farming does sound cool. Big ups to all my flower farmers. Okay. Well, it was not. And recognizing the gun to be a decommissioned replica, Dennis knocked out the knife wielder and began stomping on him. And he did it so much that I had to get him to stop, because while I too was angry at the threat to my life, murdering this boy would just bring way too much attention down upon us. However, since this was simply Dennis doing this job, and ensuring the boy was in no position to come back at us for revenge, for a while at least, this was only my secondary concern. The first involved Niels, our new fishing captain. I was conducting a cash collection one day when Niels asked about getting out. He'd been involved with us for 18 months or so, like I said, and having made a sizable amount of money from it, he wanted to quit while he was ahead. He wanted to know how that would work. Hey, I'd like to get out of the mafia. How does that work? Well, Niels, we have to turn you into a sushi roll, and not the good kind. My ex-boyfriend wanted that type of relationship. I tried, but honestly, it wasn't for me. I would rather just have one guy only. Yeah, word, dude. I mean, like, you think about humans, like, why do we get jealous, right? Like, why do we get jealous? We get jealous because we want to secure another person for prolonged, reproduction or, security or whatever the fuck. And so, like, this weird complication of polyamory, I think, is just very unnatural to the human's mind. Yeah, it's like sharing your Pokemon cards. Not fucking happening, bro. Not happening. Just watched the Boys finale today and it was really good, and there are still some sad scenes in the last episode. Oh, interesting. I've heard the complete opposite of that, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. He wanted to know how that would work, and since I had no idea, I told him I'd ask Hans and relay back to him what was said. It seemed like a very considerate thing to ask, as it'd give Hans time to find alternative forms of transportation. Hans had also been quite reasonable in the past, so I expected a reasonable response. But when I asked him, Hans was not pleased. He said if Niels... I can't remember how to say his dumb name. Nils. It's just Nil. Like, if it was just N-I-L-S, it would make sense, but N-I-E-L-S does not sound like Nils. Let me get a Charizard. Let me get that Charizard. Niels Gruber. Oh my god. He said if Niels wanted to quit, then he needed to leave Amsterdam, maybe even the country. Now, we already had a load of loose ends hanging around in terms of the 2 fishing boats we used to work with that quit after the attack, so if Niels wanted out of the job, he needed to make himself disappear. And this was obviously not the answer I was hoping for. We'd always been gentlemen thieves, if you will, but Hans was now talking like some gangster, saying Niels should shut up. Niels should. Charizard. Let me get a Charizard. Do you guys have a favorite Pokemon? Favorite one of all time? Honestly, in the process of collecting a lot of Pokemon, my favorite being Dragonite, and then Gengar, and some others. Like, it's actually been really interesting to hear everyone's like cards that they specifically go out of their way to collect. Like, coming across somebody who only collects Dialgas, that's such a random one to collect. Another friend of mine only collects, what the hell's the karate one? God damn it. He has a movie. Fuck. Blue Pokemon. There he is. Lucario. Sorry, yeah, Lucario. I don't know how I forgot Lucario. Someone only collects Lucario. And then somebody else I found out the other day, like, really likes Jigglypuff for the weirdest. I mean, Jigglypuff is cool, I guess, but I don't know. Why the fuck are you collecting Jigglypuffs? But, that's fine, I don't judge. You can collect whatever you want. I do really like Slowking. You guys ever see Slowking? I went to the store and I found like 2 pretty cool illustration Slowkings that were like not expensive. And Slowking's kind of badass. Because he was also in a movie. I think the second one where they were trying to get all the different legendary birds together. Have you seen the Pocket Monster cards? Pocket Monster? What, isn't that what Pokemon are? Pocket Monster. Is it new? Charizard 1997, charred-ass Pocket Monsters. Sarah, I just watched Ready or Not and its sequel, 10 out of 10. Nice, that's awesome. Thank you for the 2. Is that like Slowpoke? Yes, I think, I forget exactly how you get a... How does Slowpoke evolve into Slowking? It's like an alternate evolution to Slowbro. To evolve a classic Cantonian Slowpoke into Slowking, give it King's Rock to hold and trade it to another player. To evolve a Galarian Slowpoke into Galarian Slowking. I didn't even know they had a Galarian Slowking. I gotta see this shit. What the flurp? Oh my god, that's dope, dude. That's one of the cards that I have, and I didn't realize it was Galarian Slowking. That's cool. It's a Galarian Slowking V is the card that I have. It's pretty sweet. Cloyster, yeah. Interesting. They need to do more Pokemon like that where they like mix together. Is this my real voice? So relaxed. I always listen to stories when I cook or clean. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, this is me. I gave up on the Pokemon games right before they introduced EV training in the game. Yeah, I have, literally no freaking clue about the games anymore. Have you covered Dahmer on Saturn Soul? I'm not sure, honestly. Anyone play Magic the Gathering with their polycules? That sounds like a fantastic way to end all that relationship pretty fast. That Slowking he's talking about is $85 roughly. Really? What? Really? So I must have... No, this one here that I got I think is $1.24. So I wonder which one you're talking about. You have to let me know, because I do... Now I kind of want to get them. I'm addicted to Pokemons. Collecting them in my little binder. My little boy binder. Okay, sorry. Jesus Christ. But Hans was now talking like a gangster, saying, Niels. Holy shit. Niels? But Hans was now talking like a gangster, saying Niels should shut up, keep taking his money, and stop making problems. When I told him Niels wasn't going to like this answer, he told me to make him like it, but not with violence or anything, but by raising his share. I agreed that might sweeten the deal, so to speak, but when I told Niels what Hans said, he was equally unimpressed. He accepted the pay raise, but no matter how much I tried to dress up what Hans said as a positive, "You're great at what you do and we need you," etc., Niels understood a threat when he heard one. He kept calm during the exchange. He didn't want to alert his crew that anything was wrong, but I remember how he almost simmered over when he asked me if... Simmered. Suffering, simmering, succotash. My uncle was the prison guard assigned to Dahmer. He would meet with his parents when they came to visit him, interact with Dahmer, bring his parents to visit him. That's nice of him to do. Still in search of the Ancient Mew Pokemon card. I do have one of those because I went to the movie when I was a kid. Ancient Mew promo, yeah. $100 on TCG, $120 on eBay. Of course. A grade 10 PSA is $12,500. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, mate. Oh, Aerodactyl is sick, yeah. You have 2 Ancient Mew cards. Give me that. You gonna give me that, aren't you? The Ancient Mew card was passed around in the early 2000s if they attended the movie. It's for sale at $110. It is crazy to think, though. Like, I remember, I have a specific memory of going into the Pokemon first movie where they handed out the Ancient Mew as you walked in, and they literally just had a box. Just a fucking huge box with, like, a bunch of those Ancient Mews in them, and I was just thinking, like, what if one of those boxes just got left at an old movie theater, you know, hidden in an attic somewhere, and then you opened it years later, and now you got a bunch of cool Pokemon cards. Would I make a good Roman soldier? I don't know. What do they do? What's their responsibilities? You go to trade shows too? I haven't yet, but having only recently gotten into this and being excited about it, I do want to go to some. But I'm curious if you go to them, if they like try to gouge you on like how much they charge everything or upcharge. Because is it like going into the airport and paying for a Snickers bar? Maybe a homeless guy found a box and was like, fire. Yeah, fire? I should burn these. Me Too was hot when I was going to say it was like we all were thinking, don't even try to lie. Yeah, you're looking for a Latina girl with a Mewtwo body. I went to too many trade shows, last me several lifetimes. That's dope. How was it? I'm a fan of Nidoking, but as far as I use my various teams, Jolteon and Vaporeon. Yeah, Vaporeon is actually one of my favorites. I won't tell you exactly why, though. Okay, so where the hell was I? Nils. I agreed that might sweeten the deal, so to speak. But when I told Nils what Hans said, he was equally unimpressed. He accepted the pay raise, but no matter how much I tried to dress up what Hans said as a positive, "You're great at what you do, we need you," etc., Nils understood a threat when he heard one. He kept calm during the exchange. He didn't want to alert his crew that anything was wrong, but I remember how he almost simmered over when he asked me if he was trapped and if Hans was threatening his family or not. Now, I told him it wasn't like that, how Hans was just stressed and how I'd even try and up his share even more if it smoothed over the misunderstanding, as I put it. I did my best, but my best wasn't good enough, and from then on, our relationship with Nils started to deteriorate. I did my best to shield Hans from it, and I suppose that shielded Nils too, but he became almost impossible to deal with at times. He kept asking for an increase in his share, which Hans wouldn't grant, and then whenever I had to give him the bad news, he'd stop answering our calls, sometimes when we needed him most too. It didn't hamper our operation, but it added a layer of stress that was clearly designed to force our hand and find a different boat captain. If we wouldn't let him go willingly, he was going to make us get rid of him. The only trouble was, he still had to be very good at his actual job in order to not get himself caught, meaning no matter how displeased he was, he always delivered and kept Hans happy. Now flash forward to just over a year after Nils said that he wanted out, and I honestly thought things had smoothed over. He was still very much cold with me, but he'd stopped complaining and being difficult and was very much more proactive in keeping up with dates and times, etc. Now amazingly, Dennis was still with us too, and had managed to keep himself out of prison despite being a lot of boys got a gibber to get more stupider. Yeah, we also get really horny too when we go there. It's pretty much the Thailand of the solar system. They treat us right on Jupiter, they treat us right. None of this bull crap. None of this attitude. And girls go to... Where do girls go to? They go to OnlyFans to get more. $6 a month. I'm just here playing pinball, listening to y'all talk Pokemon cards in the background. That's what I like to hear. Amazingly, Dennis was still with us too and had managed to keep himself out of prison despite being a lot of law breaking. Dude, it was so fun. It was so funny, like earlier, like my buddy's like, can you babysit his youngest daughter who's like 5 going on 6 or whatever, because he was going to take his older daughter they go to karate, and he wants to do it, he has to go there because he's like trying to qualify for the next level of his like black belt or whatever. And like it was just so funny because as soon as she arrived, she's like, I'm hungry. And like I don't do, you know what I mean, I'm just like a single guy, so I don't like do a lot of grocery shopping. And I just felt like embarrassed because like all I had for her was like in my fridge was like a thing of honey and like 3 dates covered in like coconut shavings. And I was like, you want some, like, a date with honey on it? And she's like, sure. And she did like it, so that was good. I mean, I guess kids love sugar, so it's perfect. I was like, it was either that or like a really fucking old jar of pickles and some syringes. Just kidding. What was my last composition? Infernape, Flygon, Jolteon, Swampert, Metagross, and Scizor. Oh, if you get a chance, look up the one special illustration rare for Skarmory. Because it's like so it's the 2024 Pokemon Skarmory 209/191 SVO8 Surging Sparks, I think. And it's sick, dude. It's not worth that much, but in my opinion, it should be worth like $100 because it's like the only one I've ever seen that has like 70s sci-fi art for like the picture, and it's just awesome. Nils, okay. Amazingly, Dennis was still with us too and had managed to keep himself out of prison despite being in a lot of law breaking. And honestly, he refused to even park his car correctly sometimes. It was like every law he encountered was a direct challenge that he had to defy. He was a constant source of worry for us, and we were terrified that something he did would attract attention to us. But at the same time, he did his job fantastically and somehow kept trouble at bay. It was almost like a tornado. We were right there in the center of it. And things went on like that for some time until one day, when the storm finally hit. I remember Hans texting me one day asking if I wanted to go for coffee. I told him sure, but when he came back to pick me up, he drove me to an abandoned warehouse near the docks and walked me inside. I knew then that it must have been business related and that the added discretion means that Hans was worried about something. But then, and out of nowhere, Hans pulled out a gun and pointed it at me. He kept asking, "Is it you? Is it you?" over and over. And what else could I say but, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. He told me to pull up my shirt, pull down my pants, take off my shoes, and give him my phone. And with the gun pointed at me, I did everything he said while shaking like a leaf. I realized very quickly that there was an informant somewhere, because what else would Hans be looking for? But it was only once he was happy it wasn't me that he confirmed it. He didn't know if it was an informant or a full-blown undercover cop. A full-blown blower. The weapons are solid rattan. Our armor is Roman-style Lyrica segmentada cut from toxic waste barrels. Is this a D&D thing? What was that pirate game you played, Joel? Sea of Thieves. Yeah, you might. It's actually very chill. I don't get to play it too often, but it's honestly a very chill game that you can play with friends, and it has like some of the best like water. I don't want to say water physics, but it's got some like some of the best like water I've seen in a video game probably ever. I would say it still even keeps up with the new Subnautica 2 water. Oh shit. Maybe even better than BioShock. I was saying my girlfriend and I were special needs since someone said sounds like a 6-year-old. We're both adults, by the way, so obviously not kids. Okay, that's good. Would you tell us if you were seeing or talking to a moon in a romantical sense? I'm feeling romantical. I think if I got married, I probably would tell you guys. Especially if I, like, had children. I feel like it would be almost unavoidable. I would tell you if I had 6 children. We'll leave it at that. On my 6th child, I will let you guys know that I'm seeing somebody. Oh, the audio cut out? Shit. Oh, no, we're good. Okay, sweet. You're very avoidant. I'm still in this pit, Joel. Yeah, don't come anywhere near my house. You will enter the mud pit. I've been an acute care CNA for 13 years. Nice, dude. Hope everything's going okay. He didn't know if it was an informant or a full-blown... He didn't know if it was an informant or a full-blown undercover cop, but someone inside our organization was talking to the police. It was, as you can imagine, a very surreal situation. There I was, pulling up my pants in a cold, dark warehouse on the edge of town, while one of my old university friends, turned gangster, was explaining how our lives, as we know it, might well be over. Now, he wouldn't say how he knew, just that he knew. But if we didn't get rid of the mole was going to get rid of us. It had been a no-wire operation, meaning the police hadn't risked their operative by strapping a microphone to him, and were planning on getting a conviction based on the mole's testimony alone. The gears were in motion, and the hammer of justice was bearing down on us, but if we could take out the mole and stop all that testimony from reaching our courtroom, we might just skirt the charges if we weren't found with any product in our possession. And then since he wasn't the mole and I wasn't the mole, there were only 3 possibilities. Wim, Niels. Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck. What the flurp? Niels? Wim, Niels, or Dennis? Dennis Leary. Dennis Rodman. A naked mole rat. Try to steal my dino nuggets and you'll get worse than stitches. I'm telling Mom for our safety, big bug. Big bug. Wim, Niels, or Dennis. Now, it obviously wasn't Dennis. The prospect was almost comical to us. In fact, when Hans did have the temerity to ask if he was working with the police, Dennis said that if he asked him that question again, he'd kill him. Now, he also suggested that we torture Wim so we could really be sure that he wasn't the informant, but I knew from the start that it couldn't have been him. The trafficking operation was the best thing to ever happen to him, and even having found a full-time job and a girlfriend, he'd never have given up and betrayed us. Now, Wim also acted very offended when Hans asked him the big question, but once we ticked him off the list, that left only one person who could have been feeding information to the police. Niels, our fishing boat captain. And at that moment, it all made perfect sense to us. No wonder Niels had stopped complaining and asking for raises. No wonder he seemed way more interested than usual in where the shipments were going and where we produced our product. He was talking to the police. It made sense that they couldn't put a concealed microphone on him either, because the guy used to wear about 7 layers and be out at sea for long stretches. He might well have been relaying information to some kind of handler, but without his personal testimony, the police wouldn't be able to submit what they'd learned as evidence, meaning he was the one we needed to disappear if we wanted our own imminent problems to do the same. Naturally, Dennis volunteered on the spot, saying he'd see to it personally if we raised his share. Hans agreed, but he also wanted one of us to be there, partly to make sure Dennis didn't go overboard and draw unnecessary attention to our dealings. It might sound crazy to some, but I put up my hand. Me. Lynn, thank you for the 2 gifters. 1-2 Carol, MCM, and 1-2 Junior 19796. Thank you, Lynn. Welcome, friends. You now have access to bonus content. Joe, the fighting Saturday was good for melee, bad for combat archery, then it rained. Probably good that you didn't come out to 8th American War practice. Still good time overall. That sounds fun, yeah. I guess you can't control the weather, but those battles, I guess, become more iconic when the more mud there is. What was that one with, like, the movie with King Arthur or something like that? And then he ended up killing one of the knights by just, like, shoving his face into the mud to drown him or suffocate him, and it looked pretty miserable. How does anyone survive one of those, like, giant battles? You know what I mean? Like, everyone is everywhere all at one time. Like, even if you're like an insane swordsman, how do you not just like take one random one to the neck or the knee? Or when you're not paying attention now, I don't know, by not getting killed. Usually, yeah, I guess that, try your best. When you got kids, you can't take fiction where you want, stuff like that. Is that true? Can't just leave some water out for them. Kids are expensive as hell. Yeah, but just go on government assistance, bro. There you go. Everybody else that has 9,000 kids does it. What's to stop you? I don't know. The people that always like say you need so much money to have kids, like, if cavemen had lived in trees, ate bananas and fucked and had like 15, why not, you know? Do you think you're better than cave monkey people? With a pet, you can take vacation easily and just get a pet sitter or whatever. So totally not the same. Are you guys sure? Are you sure kids aren't the same as pets? What's stopping me? I guess probably the way I smell. There's a difference between having a kid and providing for them, putting them through poverty. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it just comes down to your philosophy. Like, to exist in like a low income situation within America, like, it's going, even that's going to vary greatly. Like, the fact that you're on the internet right now having a communication, like, you're most likely still going to have internet and solid food, and I don't know, I guess it just depends on where you are. But I don't know, there's a lot of fucking poor people who shit out kids all the time, so I really don't think, and they seem happy enough, you know what I mean? So I think you guys are overthinking it. Whatever Reddit tells you about procreation, just like do the exact opposite and your life will be just fine. Juliana, welcome to the Butterstalk Cult. You now have access to bonus content. This is the part where I say there are too many people in the world and Joel cancels me. I mean, the thing is, yeah, here I come to cancel you. I do disagree with that, but doesn't mean I don't understand where you're coming from. Like, because the perspective that you have there is the same one that, you know, people like Peter Thiel have, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk. Well, I guess he tells people to actually fuck more or whatever, but he's, you know, all these people are just control. But you know what I'm saying? Like, those kinds of perspectives are fed to us by, like, the Rockefeller group since we were fucking little, to make us think that the world is so, like, who are you as a point in perspective in the history of humankind to ever sit here and say that one more of you is just too much for the earth, or that you even have the right to, like, decide the population of the earth, you know what I mean? Like, and those people like Peter Thiel or the people like fucking Bill Gates who say the world population needs to go down, well, why don't they fucking jump off a cliff and do away with themselves first, you know what I mean? And I say that respectfully, but it's like all these people that say the world needs to be lesser or needs to be a more manageable size. Well, it's kind of genocidal to say that, you know what I mean? Don't you think it's kind of genocidal to sit there and say that the world needs to be less, even if it's done through some like long, arduous process of non-procreation? It just seems strange to me to even have the perspective that you can speak for the rest of humans on Earth. And I say that once again respectfully to your perspective, because obviously I understand where you're coming from. From a science fiction perspective, where you as an individual are for some reason the God King of the Earth, and you get to make the decisions on who gets to fuck, and you get to be the Chinese government, the one-child policy, which doesn't that end up being a disaster anyways? I can see where you're coming from. But at the end of the day, like, bacteria will proliferate regardless. The deer population will grow regardless of how many fucking wolves there are, or how many, you know, cars they jump in front of, or how many hunters take them out. Like, you're here to exist And to waste your time with abstract philosophy of the direction of the entire human population, to me, is like trying to put the sun out with your piss. You know, it's just, it's not going to happen. Don't look up the German woman in her first child parenting book. Don't look up the German woman in her first child parent. I don't know what you're talking about. The amount of families living in motels because they can't afford a stable home is horrible. Yeah, you should let them live with you, bro. You haven't seen me piss in a bucket. What does venison taste like? It's just salty and gross, like kind of like a beef jerky of sorts. And you got to be careful who you get it from, because they might not have, like, I guess, cured it appropriately or have prepared it appropriately, and it might have parasites in it. It costs money to have kids, depending on what insurance pays, and hope nothing's medically wrong. Well, that's the thing, is like, most likely, if you're going to live in that poverty line area, you're probably going to have to, unfortunately, rely very heavily upon government assistance. And if that's not the life you want to live, then that's totally fine too. You know, honestly, like, it's just up to you as the individual, and I have no problem with whatever you want to do. I really don't care. There's an interesting aftertaste, but it's very healthy for you. You do think so? What about like a deer that's been like riddled with like deer ticks or random ticks like for a long period of time? Do you think that like affects the meat at all or anything weird like that? Don't be selfish. Data centers need more water. Isn't that weird? They sit there and like stress. They sit there and feed you these narratives that you as the individual are responsible for the end of the earth. But then these fucking data centers are literally diverting entire cities' power grids over to them, entire states' water supplies over to them, and then making you feel like you're the one that fucking ended the world or something like that. Like, isn't that fucking strange how like they've somehow offloaded collective guilt onto the individual, and then all it does is end up causing all of us to argue with each other for responsibility because you drove a fucking Cummins 2-stroke truck or some dumb shit, you know? When in reality, there's clearly bigger fish to fry. I just don't care what people do. If you want to have kids, that means you have hope for the future. Rock on. That's a good, probably most likely the case is that they have a better hope for things, or they just like to have sex and jizzed at the wrong time or something. Venison, however, is almost no fat, so you need to add lard if you're going to grill it. Oh yeah, I've heard about that. Like if you only ever ate like stuff like rabbit has next to no fat in it, so you can actually die from not having an appropriate dietary fat consumption, which is important for the production of like hormones. It's called The German Woman and Her First Child, basically teaching women not to bond with their babies. No, I think, yeah, no, you need to do that. Yeah, direct skin-to-skin contact and breastfeeding, like, right out the gate, pretty much, right? Okay, sorry, what the fuck am I talking about? Anyways, it might sound crazy to some, but I put up my hand. How about that? It was almost as if this whole narrative was concocted to deprive the peasants of their personal property and rights. Exactly. Egg snackly. Oh man, it's so annoying. We are really going back very quickly to like some strange techno-feudalism where everything you do is going to be, I mean, because really, if you think about it, all of the philosophy in many ways, like obviously it's years and years of philosophy, but if you've ever briefly stumbled across any quotes or read Sun Tzu, The Art of War, it's kind of one of the first things that he says is like, you don't need to rule over your people with like an iron fist, but you can just monitor them and survey them and surveil them from afar where they don't know you're watching, and just keep an eye on them. And that's literally all the data centers are kind of just doing, is just surveilling every fucking thing you do. I mean, who knows, maybe at some point those same sort of AI super systems, godlike AGI or whatever they want to call it, eventually can interact with your body as some type of semi-robotic being. I don't know. I just heard about the rabbit thing this morning with the Lone Star tick yesterday, but people were talking about it at work that morning. Yeah, is the Lone Star tick situation getting more insane? I hate that most people ask me why I'm not a mother or married. I'm glad that I had the choice to decide not to. So many women don't get that chance. My value is my work. Yeah, that's fine. I'm utterly stunned by the mental incapacitation of the people surrounding me. What did they do to you? Are they watching WWE again? It might sound crazy to some, but I put up my hand right away. Having been the one to deal with him for the most part, I took Niels's deception personally, and I also felt responsible, and felt if I paid more attention to him, I might have noticed his betrayal somehow before it became a threat to us. There was also a self-preservation aspect to it too. Hans was clearly feeling murderous, even though I believed that he'd have killed me in that warehouse if he suspected of Niels. PETA engineered ticks to spread meat allergy. You think PETA did it? Do you think they have like bioengineering? I mean, isn't it specifically out of like a lab that was right around there? So do you own a rental? Random, I know I've been looking in the market. I own. I was fortunate to get a house right around COVID time frame. So like it was on a much cheaper number than it is now. It was like insane. Like after that period of time, like the cost of how homes like literally went up by 50% to 100%. How's your buddy's M3 BMW? Oh, it's good. It's sitting in his driveway doing fuck all now instead of my garage. They do carry the meat allergy illness, and yeah, this Lone Star tick has the ability to give you alpha gall as well as like Lyme's disease and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, do whatever you can. I mean, there's like stickers I think you can get that you put on that would deter ticks, I think, and all sorts of sprays you can get. But you don't want to like disconnect yourself from nature. Otherwise, you know, you disconnect yourself from silence, you disconnect yourself from God and your internal dialogue, of which is the number one thing they want you to be disconnected from. They don't, I mean, obviously not being able to eat red meat is kind of a detriment to most due to the benefits that you get from it. But what's up, Grob Nut? How you doing, bro? Is the Lone Star tick the one that makes you allergic to red meat? Yeah, with alpha gall. That's the disease, I guess, that you can get. I was just looking at the average cost to live here in my county. It's stupid expensive for no reason. There's nothing here for it to be expensive. Yeah, aren't you in California? It's just kind of ridiculous. Five Night Gamer, what's up, bro? Vanilla ice cream with Lucky Charms for during. Yeah, why don't they make a tick that makes us allergic to fucking McDonald's or like shitty food? They want you afraid of nature so you stay close to the 5G and have to buy lab meat made by Bill Gates. Dude, I heard recently that let's actually look this up so I'm not spreading false. Does Walmart sell lab-grown meat now? The 5G. You think 5G is bad? Wait till 6-7G. Walmart does not appear to be selling real lab-grown cultivated meat in stores right now. What you may see is probably one of these plant-based meat, Beyond Impossible Morningstar Guardian. This is not lab-grown meat. Is usually made by soy pre-protein week, blah, 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 blah. Gross shit. Cultivated is a marketing word. Sometimes brands use cultivated to mean grow, farmed, cured, or plant-based. Real lab-grown meat, also called cultivated meat or cell-cultured meat, has been approved for sale in the U.S. in limited cases. Upside Foods says it receives FDA and USDA approval to sell cultivated chicken in 2023. Oh, wow. and USDA/FSIS has guidance for food made with cultivated animal cells. Wait, so do they have to disclose on the packaging which is which? The haunted virus from eating a mice's butt. Yes, they have to label it in a way that tells you what it is, but the wording depends on the type of product. For real lab-grown cultivated meat, meaning meat grown from animal cells, labels for livestock and poultry products must be prepared by USDA FSIS before sale. So you should see wording like sell cultivated chicken, sell cultivated beef, cultivated chicken. What the fuck, cultivated? What a fucking shitty word to use. For plant-based meat, it should say plant-based, vegan, meatless, vegetarian, made from plants. Okay, yeah, good question. If you get alpha-gal, what protein can you now eat without allergy? Anything by Bill Gates. God, dude. Alright, so usually safe options will be chicken, turkey, duck, fish, shellfish, eggs, beans, tofu, nuts, penis. So it's really just the... But the one benefit of like cow meat, right, is the fact that like cows have what do they call them? Rudimentary stomachs or whatever, or rudimentary stomachs. And basically they go through like 4 different chambers. So if for some reason you don't want to consume, you don't want to eat the stuff that the cow eats that gets into its, like the polysaturated, what is it? The PUFAs, the polyunsaturated fatty acids that get in through like the feed that the cows eat. Usually that's out of the system by the time it makes it through the, rudimentary stomachs, right? The compartmentalized stomachs, yeah. So chickens, you don't have that benefit. Like you still get it in the eggs. But I'm pretty sure with like red meat, you kind of like avoid most of that stuff. I think. So get paid and paid some bills, put some money in the savings, transfer some money into my investment account, plus set up some market buys. I'll be honest with you. I appreciate that you did that, but God, dude, investing is like the most boring shit of all time. Like, I get that people were supposed to do it and they let it sit and all that kind of stuff, but fucking everything investing outside of buying Pokemon cards is fucking lame. And it's fine, it's just boring. We should eat fleas. I wish we were. I wish we were all anteaters. There was also a self-preservation aspect to it, too. Hans was clearly feeling murderous, enough that I believe that he'd have killed me in that warehouse if he'd suspected me of being the mole. So what better way to prove my loyalty to the operation above all others than to deal with Niels? I still have no fucking clue what this dumb guy's name is. Nils, not Niels. Just like instinctually want to call him Niels. Nils. No fucking E. So what better way to prove my loyalty to the operation above all others than deal with Nils personally? We bought a gun after that first robbery 2 years prior. I knew how to shoot it, just not accurately, but I wouldn't need to be accurate when I put it to Niels' head. And if it jammed, well, that's what Dennis was there for. And so off we went, at a time that we knew Niels would be alone at the docks doing paperwork after his crew went home. We'd set it up as a meeting, so we knew that he'd be there, but he knew we were coming too, so there was a chance the police might take the opportunity to snatch us before we could go through with the hit. But that didn't deter me. I was quite literally furious beyond reason. I'd done everything I could to keep him happy and on board, and he repaid us by ratting us out to the cops. So when I walked through the door to his office, I had no problem pointing the gun at him and demanding to know when he started talking to the police. And that was all I personally wanted to know. When? I wanted to know which time he'd told me, okay, I'm good, everything's fine, and it was all a lie. Which time he shook my hand and then went right to the police to rat us out. There was still a sliver of doubt in me, a kind of hope that it was all a terrible mistake and there was no mole at all. But to my horror, Nils admitted it. I told him if he told me the truth, I'd let him leave. Let him leave. It's been forever. I'm redoing my hair red, so thank you for the stories. Yeah, no worries. Be safe. Just had a great Mediterranean salad today for lunch. My first one. That's sick. Sick nasty. Everyone's favorite food. Salad. Wait a minute. What do you mean the undercover cop doesn't know how to use a gun? That doesn't sound right. This guy is not an undercover cop. He just sells drugs. His friend became an undercover informant because he was frustrated and felt threatened. My mom follows this diet plan, has for a few years. She's a nurse practitioner, so she said it's best for her lifestyle. Nice. In this case, wouldn't mind an Arnold voice steak. Don't eat the cookie first. Put the cookie down. Now. Put the cookie down. I told him if he told me the truth, I'd let him leave. Drive him to the airport and put him on a flight to Brazil or something before his family followed. And he believed me and asked me what choice we had given him. The implication was that he was trapped, that his family was at risk, and it gave him no other option than to work with the police. And while Nils's eyes kept on darting towards Dennis, I mistook the look for fear, and what it truly was expectation. Once I decided Nils truly had to die, that he really had betrayed us, I tried. Once I decided Nils truly had to die, that he had betrayed us, I tried to pull the pistol back so I could shoot him. But no sooner did I grab the slide than I felt something cold and rigid against the back of my head. And then I heard the voice of Dennis in my ear saying, "Drop it." I tried to argue with him, but Dennis moved like lightning, sending the grip of the pistol in the back of my head, and he hit me so hard it felt like he cracked my head open, and then said he wouldn't tell me again. I thought the only explanation was that Dennis was working on behalf of our supplier, and that fearing our imminent arrest might put them on the radar of Interpol and had ordered us to be liquidated. It was like a triple cross or something, very confusing to be of in the middle. We've been triple crossed, just like Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. Honestly, I think the biggest driving factor for feeling and looking younger than I technically am is anti-inflammatory diet. Yeah, for sure. Not all the processed bullshit, and honestly, fasting if you can do it. That's the maximum anti-inflam. Third warning, welcome back for 44 months. Good to see you, bro. Been a while. Is this live reading or pre-recorded? This is live reading, yeah, and I'm just recording the lines for tomorrow's video to edit later. What's up, Fry? Chris Cross, Apple Sars. It was like a triple crossing or something. Very confusing to be in the middle of, especially when Dennis wouldn't answer any of my questions. And things only went down after dragging me back to the car and he told me I was under arrest. Within minutes, the whole place was swarming with police cars. One to take me into custody, and one to take Nils off to safety, and maybe half a dozen filled with officers who searched the entire site for anything incriminating. The same thing was happening at our homes too, with officers emptying closets, drawers, and cabinets for anything they could use to prove we were traffickers. And they found a lot. Enough to put us away for quite some time, and the only reason I got out after 8 years was because I was a model prisoner who paid a lot of money in restitution to the state. And when I got out, I had to enroll in all kinds of post-release programs, and one of the conditions forbade me from reaching out to Wim, who was out himself by then, or Hans, who got a lot longer than Wim, and thanks to him being the ringleader. Come one, come all, and try our ecstasy. And see the bearded woman. That'd be funny if the bearded woman just kind of like had a little bit of peach fuzz on her chin, and that was like the oddity of the circus. When I got out, I had to enroll in all kinds of post-release programs, and one of the conditions forbade me from reaching out to Wim, who was out himself by then, or Hans, who got a lot longer than Wim and I, thanks to him being the ringleader. I ended up going back to university and starting my own business, and then a few years after that, I met my girlfriend, now wife. Meeting her was like a rebirth, and I felt like I'd been handed a second chance. I wasted my first one, and as I tell her every day, I won't waste the second. Not for all the money in the world. What's up, Samakai? Walking to get a grilled chicken super burrito with orange sauce while listening. Let's freaking go, dude. Please be safe and keep your head on a swivel. A swiv. Touch my camera through the fence. What does that even mean? Hey Joy, I just got dumped today. Remind me to give up on love again. Maybe if you tell me it'll stick this time. Nah, I mean, you just need to find some good hobbies that make you feel, you know, first off distracted, but also like you're growing, you know. Don't get into scratch-offs or cigarettes or alcohols or vodka alcohol or anything not so good for yourself. There's a company called Prison Blues that's denim clothing made by inmates in Oregon. They make some really good stuff. I have their yard coat I use at the fire station. That is amazing. You're gonna find like a needle in one of the pockets or a shiv. Like, oh shit, that wasn't supposed to go in there. Or like a note. It says, please free my boy, Jammy. Do I like Wawa? I don't know if there's any Wawas really near me, to be honest with you. So I've been to them and I think they're good. Sometimes I think they might be even better than Sheets, believe it or not. Joel, if you ever visit Seattle before they nuke it, visit the old city underground. Okay. Better move fast. Okay. Well, guys, we got 2 more stories. I think we can bang them out. Joel, do seasons affect your viewers? You know, honestly, not too much. Like, I've just been like hanging around like the 4 to 5 million views a month range for like years. It's genuinely kind of weird. Wawa is invading South Central PA, straight up encroaching on Sheets territory. Oh no. They're going to be throwing Molotov cocktails at each other's gas stations. I spent 8 years undercover in the New Jersey Mafia, and as you can probably guess, it wasn't pretty. Now, it sure ain't the Sopranos out there no more. All the wisecracking, lovable rogues are either dead, in jail, or consulting on the next Scorsese rhythm. The Scorsese rhythm. Actually, it would be kind of a funny thing. Like, all of his movies are written the exact same way. It's this sort. Yeah, you get the idea. Now, it sure ain't the Sopranos there anymore. All the wisecracking, lovable rogues are either dead, in jail, or consulting on the next Scorsese movie. The smart ones. Oh, fuck. The smart ones got out too. Investments, stocks, all that Wall Street crap. And now they're just living off the interest and waiting to die so they can hand it off to their doctor, lawyer kids and Guido grandkids. And when they left, they took it all with them. All the shell companies, all the scams, all the connections with New York. It was all gone. Only a handful of families stayed together, and the ones that did find themselves competing with the Russians, the ones that... Burping or pooping? I have my gamer bucket below me, but I don't see any shit or piss. That'd be really fun. What if that's like your $1 million idea, is to have a gamer bucket and it's just, you put it below. Oh my god, like a really, really comfortable gaming seat, but it's just got like a, you know, a quote-unquote joke hole in it that you can shit and piss through, and a bucket. No, hear me out, not in like a weird way, just like in such a ridiculous possible way that people would buy it just to be funny, but then eventually you know for a fact, like some of the really, really degenerate no-lifers that moderate Reddit would be shitting and pissing in it. Shitting in a bucket, but not in a weird way. Well, no, it'd be like a comedically ironic way, but then, but you know, you got the option if you want to. A gaming catheter, yeah. Oh boy, you can see Boogie 2298. What happened to Boogie? Actually, I haven't heard of him. We moved on to other lolcows. Let's look up Boogie. Boogie 3 days ago, selling all my cards. Oh my god, dude, I would have bought some cards off Boogie. Wish he would have told me. We own a real NASCAR, him and his child bride. Eureka Springs situation is Krazit. Instead of Cray, he never changed it either. Just like 3 months ago, he posted a video that says Eureka Springs situation is Krazit with a spelling error, and just didn't change the titles. Halloween at Universal Hollywood and Not Scary Farm. So he just does like blogging stuff. That's kind of cool. Dude, the fact that this chick is literally with Boogie, like a normal looking, healthy, young, happy, good looking person is like with Boogie. Honestly, I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy he's doing good, having a good time. Why shouldn't he, honestly? Like, sure, he pissed off a few people on the internet. Sure, he fired a gun into the air and it landed in a nun's neck. Sure, he drank all the Mountain Dew. Stole all the Doritos, but I'm not trying to rob him of his human experience. A man of garbage. But who hasn't? Exactly. He's literally doing the do right now. I'm hoping to move out of Cali by the end of the year. Not sure where to move to. Thinking East Coast. Well, yeah, East Coast is cold. Well, that's not true. You could go move down south. Move to Tennessee. Tennessee's nice. South Carolina's nice. Florida's okay. Who hasn't recklessly discharged a firearm? I can't believe he fired the fucking dude, that's so fucking... Just holding it up. Just keep your distance. Like it's a fucking video game. Like, yeah, that bullet has no physics whatsoever. This is Red Dead Redemption in real life, bro. Like, I did that just to send a message. And then like 3 hours later, it just like comes down through some little girl's dad's ice cream cone and like through his like mouth and neck. Daddy? Daddy, no!
It's okay. I was killed by my favorite YouTuber, Boogie229.
Okay, anyways. Only a handful of families stayed together, and the ones that did found themselves competing with the Russians, the Albanians, and a 1%er motorcycle gang called the Pagans. It got real ugly up there for a while, and the fuck? Oh yeah, the clavicular thing. That was actually insane that the judge that oversaw his trial was literally better looking than he was. That was like the greatest sense of irony there. I love that. I love that for him. Okay. How the hell do I say whatever the fuck this word is? The Decavalcante. Taking down Decavalcante mob. Alright, I'm typing into YouTube. We'll see what happens. Decavalcante, okay. Do I need to shower her up and read your little stories? Bro, you can put me on your Bluetooth speaker. Put me over top of your shower speakers that are built into your mansion's shower walls. I know you got me playing through all 15 floors of your castle. Your YouTube content was so helpful and amazing to me postpartum. Appreciate you so much. Hey, no worries. I'm glad you're doing good. I hope things are going well. Okay. Decavalcante, yes. It got real ugly up there for a while, and the Decavalcante oh my god, I fucked it up immediately. It got real ugly up there for a while, and the Decavalcante... Man, damn it. Son of a bitch. I don't know what I'm doing. Decavalcante. Is that how you say it? Decavalcante. I feel like Conte sounds more... Whatever, I'm gonna make it sound more Italian. It got real ugly up there for a while, and the Decavalcante family... It got real ugly up there for a while, and the Decavalcante crime family was bringing in military-grade hardware from out of state just to take back what they considered theirs. And since I was already working undercover with a couple of Decavalcante associates, I started working the weapons angle to try and figure out who their connection was. I was hanging out with this guy called Tony, because that's one thing that definitely changed after The Sopranos. Every third guy was named Tony, and it was a nightmare. Tony D, Tony S, or in this case, Tony V. But anyway, Tony's an asshole, a real piece of crap. But he was close to the weapons shipments, so he's who I attach myself to. And we used to hang out at this bar who paid them protection money. I used to play like I was Tony's driver so he could get drunk on Peroni and Sambucas. I'm just gonna say drunk, I don't really give a fuck about what he's drinking. What do I do if I don't like my new neighbors? I guess you could haunt their dreams. Is there one thing I love with Joel, if you know what I mean? He keeps a chat at a slow pace and actually talks to us. Not many do, I appreciate. Not many do it, not many do it. He does it though, he's a doer, he's a real go-getter. He talks to his chat, he has a connection. He does it to completion. He really finishes. He starts at the bottom of the balls and makes his way up to the tippity top of the mushroom. Stop. Appreciates every crevice, every vein, every ounce of goo. God, okay. All right, shut up. Shut up. Me. We used to hang out at this bar which paid them protection money. I used to play like I was Tony's driver so he could get drunk. That way, he kept me around because I was useful to him. He could get sauced and I'd be his sober proxy doing pretty much whatever he asked me to. And since that meant that I was a shoo-in to get info on the weapons they were bringing in, I didn't mind being some a-hole's mafioso's gopher. A-hole mafioso's... Yeah, hit my shock collar, would you? I'll be your guys' Kaya. To be honest, the bullfrogs are probably bigger than my feet. Where's this at? What is the song played at the beginning of the stream? At the beginning of the stream? It was a playlist. I guess I can... How the hell do I even find anything on this website? This old website of mine. This one, copy link address, paste link address, Control V. There you go. Okay, Gabagool. Gabagooly. I'm afraid of gabagoolies when they come out during Halloween, man. It's fucking scary, dude. Alright, so one night he gets... Okay, where am I? Okay, sorry. And since that meant that I was a shoo-in to get info on the weapons they were bringing in, I didn't mind being some a-hole mafioso's gopher. One night, he gets a call saying he needs to go make a cash delivery, which I assumed was connected to the weapons sales. Tony then finishes his drink and tells me to drive him to his girlfriend's place, which turned out to be this cramped one-bedroom in the Ironbound. Tony was married already and he had a couple of kids too, but he also had this Colombian guma, which is mob slang for side piece. I'm just gonna say side piece. Who's a fucking guma? A gooner. This Colombian gooner. Did you ever get the Wienermobile in your garage after you got the BMW out? That was what I was waiting for. Get that BMW out, get my fucking Wienermobile in. Something with class. Something with style. Tony was married already, and he had a couple of kids too, but he also had this Colombian side piece that he used to visit sometimes. He used to tell her she was his girlfriend and made all kinds of promises to her about taking her on vacation to the Bahamas one day. But it was all nonsense. He was just using her to get off, and so he could turn her apartment into a goddamn stash house. Now anyways, we show up at the apartment building and somehow Tony's able to get us in without buzzing because the block's buzzer is busted. We walk up to, I think it was, the 3rd floor, and then Tony starts banging on our door like, "It's me, let me in." And there's this moment of silence before we heard her saying something like, "Hold on a second." But then we both heard it. There was fear in her voice. Something was going on behind the door. I knew it and Tony knew it, so he started hammering his fist again on that wood. Started hammering his wood. We scored 28,915,700 on the 5-minute challenge on pinball. Random thought. Don't you play pinball on like a PS3 or something like that, or is it the... Which is kind of awesome. Playing pinball games on like old school console systems is the greatest thing I've ever heard. You cut your teeth on a pinball at the arcade in the 80s. My dad has a few thousands of the cabinets. You cut your teeth on it. Were you trying to eat it or something? Oh, on a pinball itself. Oh, like you were trying to put it in your mouth. Which is freaking cool. I actually feel that would that feel kind of good? Like you take a pinball out and you put that in your mouth, just to, you know, like just to teeth on it a little bit, in case you get your third set coming in. Something was going on behind that door. I knew it, and Tony knew it. So he started hammering his fist against the door, saying, "Open this door right now." Now there was another cry of, "Okay, okay," before we heard the chain and key locks being undone. And then Tony shoved his way into the apartment while asking what the F was going on. Now the first thing we both see is this girl's bra just lying there on the couch while she's wearing nothing but a towel. Tony then rushes into her bedroom and sees an open window leading to the fire escape. He then found a guy's shoe under her bed, and that's when all hell broke loose. He moved fast, grabbing her by the hair and yanking and stank. Yanking and stanking. Don't eat the ball. Okay, fine. I learned gaming in arcades from playing pinball at my first foray. Dude, yeah, fucking our old arcades were so sick. I used to go to one with my dad all the fucking almost every Friday. That was our shit to do. After I got out of school on Fridays, he'd pick me up and we go just fuck around at an arcade. It was awesome. The expression "cut your teeth" or something means make a name for yourself. Oh, right, you were a pinball wizard. You weren't just walking up to it and fucking drooling on the machine. What's this taste like? Dad sounds awesome. He was pretty cool. I do wish that I would have I don't know, as a kid, because as a kid he was always when I didn't like something, he always seemed to get real frustrated, right? You know, so I wasn't the biggest fan of going out and hunting. I wasn't the biggest fan of getting up early and going fucking fishing. I wasn't the biggest fan of golfing. You know, old men shit, I guess, you know what I mean? Even though anybody can do it at any age. For me, it's I always just wanted to play video games and eat fucking sugar. You know, and things really didn't change until I was forced into sort of a other male adolescent grouping, which was joining football in 6th grade. And then once I knew what it felt like to be around other dudes who you know, you had to compete and challenge yourself. I feel that's kind of necessary for every kid, both to socialize, but also to just know what it feels like to compete with others and be friends with others and that camaraderie. Because you're not just going to learn all your disciplines solely from your parents, you know, especially if your parents don't continue to force you into it or whatever. My dad made me wake up before the sun to till the land and harvest the crops, which, hey, you know, I respect that. It sucks, wieners, but if it's what your life was, then your life was that. The butt crack of dawn. Now, the worst part is now I kind of want to do those things. Now I kind of want to get out and fish more. I want to get out and just go hunting. Even if I just went along for the hike, I just follow behind somebody as they just have a gun and want to shoot something in the face. I'll just be there as their moral support. Fishing a nervous system reset. It's been forever. He moved fast, grabbing her by the hair and yanking her into the room while yelling and still holding the shoe, saying, "What the F is this?" I said nothing at first, but then he started hitting her. Not slapping her either, straight up punching her. He hit her in the stomach, and then once her hands weren't covering her face anymore, he started slamming his fist into her face so hard she was bleeding from the first blow. I stepped forward, my hand reaching for the piece, and I pastel wood nymph with the $2 Canadian, or those Californian dollars. What happens when the sun gets cold? I guess if it ever goes into a solar minimum, then we have forever winter. Just go full Boogie with the gun. Yeah, maybe I could go hunting with Boogie. Me and him could take shrooms together and just go hunt animals. Congrats on everything, bro. You are the shit. Thanks for curing my insomnia. Oh, bro, you're welcome, man. That's like the best thing to hear, so I really appreciate you letting me know, because sleep is just, you know, sleep is so important, man, for like mental health and just body recovery and living longer and just everything, man. So I'm really happy you can get some sleep. They're coming right at us. Boogie brings a fucking... That'd be really funny when that guy came to his house. For some reason, he comes out with a bazooka. And instead of shooting like a revolver in the air, he just shoots a fucking RPG up into the sky. I stepped forward, my hand reaching for the piece I kept hidden under my jacket. I told him this wasn't the play, keeping my voice low and steady, trying to cool the situation down without sounding like a cop. But Tony whirled around towards me. His knife was already out, and then he lunged forward and pressed it to my throat. Not so hard that he'd cut me, but hard enough for me to freeze up and raise my hands in the air as in to surrender. And he warned me, in no uncertain terms, that this was his business, his woman, and if I knew what was good for me, I'd back the hell off. Now, I knew the one wrong move in my cover would be the least of my problems, so I raised my hand slowly, eyes locked on his, and told him it was none of my business. Tony's girl was screaming and pleading, but I forced myself to stay in character. I was a loyal foot soldier, someone who sympathized with what Tony was doing, and so that's how I played it. But at the same time, I told myself that if he tried to kill her, I'd drop him. No hesitation. My Glock was ready under the jacket and my finger itching on the trigger. But he hadn't crossed that line. Not yet, anyway. Tony turned back to her, shoving his girl against the wall before he started ranting about how she'd betrayed him, how she was going to be sorry, and how he'd make sure that she never did it again. He called her all kinds of terrible things, told her she was a whore, and how she'd make sure that... Doctor prescribed... I know, wouldn't that be interesting if doctors prescribed ASMR, like YouTube channels for sleep? You just had no idea. I mean, would you guys say that my voice is like better than like ASMR channels, or is it just like along that same type of frequency? I got several barcades near that scratch the itch if I want real hardware. That's cool. You want to go there and start gnawing on things. If you have to eat what you kill, don't shoot skunk. Don't shoot a skunk. Well, if you don't do ASMR, I can start a petition. I mean, I do have that channel, Let's Read ASMR. It's got like 4 videos on it if you wanna jerk off to that. ASMR isn't for everyone, me included, like I like your voice. Okay. I'm gonna go over my phone since it doesn't want me to let me hear the stream uninterrupted night owl. Hey, no worries, nighty night. Dude, please never stop making the content. You, sir, are obviously an astute scholar, and your magnanimity is that of a complete gentleman. Your voice is like chocolate for ears. Thank you, Jeffrey. God bless you, bro. You rock. You don't whisper. I find it creepy when they whisper. Hey, everybody. Don't they do the finger thing? Hello, everyone. This is Jibby. This is Giblets. This is Giblets ASMR, baby. And I'm gonna eat a fucking burrito today, you fuckers. You fucking freaks. He called her all kinds of stuff, and how he'd make sure that he was back in... He called her all kinds of terrible things, and how he'd make sure that she was back in Bogota by the end of the week, because he had friends in high places. That last part was bullcrap, something he used to scare her, but even though they weren't directed at me, his words cut deep. I could see her flinching every time he raised his hand to her while tears were streaming down her face, and then he backhanded her so hard it actually echoed around the sparsely decorated apartment. I remember shifting my weight uncomfortably, ready to intervene as Tony grabbed her by the throat. He then slammed her down onto the worn carpet and then started beating her again after putting the knife on a nightstand. He humiliated her verbally the whole time, telling her how worthless she was, how she'd pay for disrespecting him. She curled into a ball, sobbing and trying to shield herself, but he wasn't done. He kicked at her legs, yanked her up again by the arm, and continued to assault with open palms and closed fists, all like I wasn't even there. All I could do was stand there, jaw clenched so tight it ached, with every instinct screaming at me to end it. Life uncovered. Bogota. What's a Bogota? That's the place. Bogota.
Bogota. I think it's Bogota.
Bogota. I don't know. Who fucking cares? Capital of Colombia. Oh, I see. Damn. Oh, well. Oh, man. Guys, what are we gonna do? What's the play, guys? What do you think? What's next? What do you guys got planned? Anything big? Isn't it crazy you only get like one life? You only get one life and most of it's just spent buying snacks at the fucking gas station. Going to the gas station to hit the little slot machine. You want to go camping? Well, just do it, honestly. I mean, if you think about camping, it's just like you drive there and then you just do it. You start BPPC 157 and HGH this week. Are you sure it's HGH? Because if you're taking BPC, are you sure it's not like the Semarelin or whatever it is that increases your HGH or like causes you to release HGH or something right before bed? If you do take BPC, I've taken it before. Let me warn you, though, that you want to take that in the morning, because if you take it at night, you can't sleep. But if there is a peptide that you're taking to release HGH, you're going to want to take that before bed, because it's going to make you really tired. But also be really, really careful if you drink any of those like salty drinks, like for working out, because I'm fairly certain I took the one peptide that's supposed to increase your human growth hormone, or, you know, at least have you release it before bed. And I'm pretty sure what it ended up doing was just increasing the permeability between like my bloodstream and my lungs, and like fluid transferred to my lungs. And I woke up the next morning with the absolute worst like cough I'd had, and I was basically sick for like a month just from like taking that and drinking too many of those like LMNT drinks with the salt. I don't know, that was a fucking weird reaction I got to that shit.
I'm planning on moving and exploring a new life. Been on the West Coast my entire life, never seen anything else.
Want to see all 50 states. Make it happen. Let's see it. Folks, let's see it. Let's see what they can do with this one. Do you ever spray yourself with a Dibet? Yeah, I've been stocking up on bananas. I heard of the salt. Yeah, the high peptide makes your water retention crazy. Yeah, so definitely be careful, and yeah, don't take the BPC at night, because I just remember that was the fucking worst nightmares I'd had, taking the BPC late and then trying to sleep, and it was just miserable. So I took it in the morning. I was like, oh, I'm good now. And that was, the BPC was the only thing that like literally saved my shoulder, because I fucked my shoulder up from bench, which, you know, honestly, don't even do flat bench. And if you do flat bench, make sure it's incline, because yeah, the BBC 169 420.
What are you doing?
The people want to know. I don't fucking know, man. My life is so boring. I'm buying fucking Pokemon cards because I literally have nothing else going on. I think I'm just gonna like walk into a random store in some random countryside Dollar General and just ask the cashier if they want to be my girlfriend. I don't even care who they are. They could be 67 years old. I'm gonna get her pregnant. I don't care. Pokemon cards are sick, though. NPC at... yeah, I guess so, maybe. Maybe I am an NPC. Honestly, maybe that's why... Maybe people who are bored in life are actually NPCs, because we just have nothing going on. We're just waiting for the main character to show up. Your obsession with impregnating a girl is so weird, dude. Yeah, that's a good point, honestly, too. I don't know. I guess because I've been indoctrinated in this, like, perspective that, like, because I'm going to be 36 next month, that I, like, need to have a family and shit, you know what I mean? And that, you know what I mean? Like, the TikTok sort of, you know, like the rabbit holding the fucking little clock and pointing at it like, you better hurry up and make a family and all that kind of stuff. But then I also think, like, what if that does happen and I'm just, like, fucking miserable? I'm like, guys, next time I come on the stream, I'm like, guys, I think I'm going to kill my family. And then she's going to say the same thing, like, Joel, your obsession with wanting to kill your family is so weird, dude. I know. I'm an NPC. What can I say? That's all us NPCs do, is basically just give you guys endless true crime content. And killing each other all day. Have a family by 50. Holy fuck. My nuts are gonna be dried up by then. I went to sleep early a few weeks ago after working out pretty hard. When I woke up a few hours later, my upper back was super sore. It's gotten better now. My shoulders pop and crack like knuckle. Yeah. Whatever, dude. We're all retarded. It's fine. Everything's doesn't make any sense, but that's okay. Life undercover means buying your sense of right and wrong under layers of deception. I'd seen Tony rough up rivals before, but this was ugly in a way that made me sick to watch. I wanted to shoot him, but my mind kept going over the consequences, how killing him then would have blown months of work, as well as endangering the larger operation. Shooting him might even get me killed, but I told myself that he started to... Oh my god, this guy's such a white knight. Just kidding. The amount of times they ask, but what if you change your mind? That's a terrible reason to have a kid. You just send him back to China or wherever you got it from. I'm so glad I took Eddie's before this. I'm having such a hard time having a fun stream. Oh yeah, we're here. We're here for it. Eddie's. Ed, and Eddie's. When you have too many. When you have 300 milligrams. I had an Ed, and an Eddie. You have autism. It's when you have autism and you're also really good looking. So people come up to talk to you, but they don't realize that you're actually thinking about fucking trains. That's all Justin's thinking about when he's making his model face. He's thinking about Model 6s and the T line, taking the red down to Baltimore. Choo choo. Shooting him might even get me killed, but I told myself that if he started to strangle her, or if his hand found that knife again, then the rules had changed. I kept on watching, feeling my trigger finger burning, but finally Tony stepped back. He was sweating and breathing heavily while his girl was laying on the floor bruised and whimpering, with blood trickling from a split lip. He spat on her, told her what would happen if she ever crossed him again, and then, as if flipping a switch, he turned to the nightstand which had the knife on it and went back into business mode. He took out bundles of cash that she'd been holding for him and then tossed them at me to hold. Then we left her there, broken on the floor. I swear to God, if you fucking strangle your girlfriend to death, I'm gonna do something about it. Hi, kitty. Oh my God. This cat is so cool, dude. His head just laying right on my foot. Your dad drives trains. Is he autistic? Because that's fucking sick. I want to talk to him. You watched the new season yet or what? Oh, of the autism show? No. No. Sadly, I gotta get on it. Oh, let's all ride a train together right now. Let's all run a train. That's what. What if you went to school and you knew your dad was a conductor? So you're like, yeah, my dad runs a train every night. No, he's just cool. I think it's awesome. He says he drives locomotives, but I don't think he calls himself a conductor. He's got a little hat. He named the train Thomas. And then we left her there, broken on the floor. I glanced back once as we stepped into the hallway, trying to memorize anything I could so I could write it down later. I felt disgusted with myself for not stopping it, but that's the job right there. Become the monster, so you can catch the bigger ones. Outside, we climbed into the car and Tony lit a cigarette. I could see how his hands were still shaking from the adrenaline, but he started talking about the drop we were headed to like nothing had happened. I nodded along, playing my part, but in my head I was already drafting the encrypted notes that I'd send later. Details on the cash, the drugs, the violence, all of it. As we headed toward the warehouse district, I kept my eyes on the road as my mind replayed the beating. I hated myself, but this life doesn't let you save everyone. Sometimes you just watch, practice patience, and wait for the net to close. Undercover work was the hardest thing it was the hardest cock I ever sat on. Oh my god. You guys ever, you know that one like nerd guy who every time he sees like a new Star Wars trailer, he like fucking cries? I wish I was that stupid, bro. Like, I really do wish that, like, every possible thing I see is just blows my mind to the point of tears. That would just be such a perfect existence. XDVFGXNGFNF. Welcome to the Butterstock Cult. You now have access to bonus content. That's passion. That's true. That might be passion, honestly. Maybe I'm just a passionless schmuck, only capable of falling in love with scratch-off lottery tickets and fucking cocaine. That's my passion. Do more mushrooms, you cry tears of joy over trees and lakes. My one friend says I should try mushrooms. He's like, I think it would really help you. I was like, that's nice of you to say. But, and I was like, what did it help you with? And he's like, because he, not to throw out his business or whatever, but he had a kid out of wedlock, believe it or not. Don't tell anybody. I know it's not legal in Islam or whatever, but basically he had a kid out of wedlock, and but he was still, I don't know, they were still going to school, or he was still going to school, and then they did, you know, eventually were arguing, her being far away from home, and then she went back home with the kid, and then he was still doing school, and then went to another school, and like kind of was not super involved in the kid's life super early on, which is not great. But he's, you know, definitively involved now, which is good, being much closer to them and having finished school. But, you know, he really struggled with the guilt of that for a long time, but then he took mushrooms, and he said it helped him just to make sense of it and be okay with it, and to just like focus more on the things to come, I suppose. So, do I have a type? Just anybody, honestly. Just anybody who's like got a good sense of humor and sends some dank ass memes. That's it. You can learn a lot about somebody from the memes they send. Mom, Dad, this is the guy that I exchange memes with. What have I learned? I've learned nothing. Basically she should have a pulse and be retired and work at Walmart. have to be in the right mindset for shrooms, otherwise it's just like being crazy. Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck. Undercover work was the hardest thing I ever did as a cop. It strips you down and makes you question how much of yourself you lose to the character you're playing. But Tony V trusted me more than ever after that, and saw me as someone who knew when to shut up and back his play. By the time we reached the drop point, my resolve had hardened. Tony V was going down one way or another, and when he did, I made sure that I buried him for good. Oh, so it's over? Can she be Canadian? Where's that? Is that a real place? Joel, not to be a witch or anything, but I actually do know who your soulmate is. Oh, no. Alright, tell me. But no, actually, maybe if you tell me, then I'll know who to look for. And then it will amplify my, my pursuit. One of these days I'm going to steal Joel's apples and chunky peanut butter. Don't you even fucking joke about that. Don't even joke. Elmer Fudd. What? I'm trying to suck Joel's cock. But shoot for the back of my throat, Daddy. So, okay, that's not funny. Whoever put that into my mind. Some guy named Timmy Two Turnt. Have you tried playing Off-Grid Van Live by Outbound? I could try it. Everyone gets the funny version of you. This person gets the funny version and notices when the funny is doing a job. They're down with the funny, but also there for you like no one else can be. Damn. She sounds... So yeah, basically Elmer Fudd, right? I love you, baby, even in your lowest woes. Thanks, Elmer. You really get me. It's, oh yeah, RFK Jr.
Yo, I'm one step away from Elmer Fudd.
That'd be really funny, just like an ongoing meme of RFK wanting to kill a wascally wabbit like Bugs Bunny. Holy shit, that'd be great. So I'd been deep undercover for nearly 18 months, worming my way into the East Midlands drug networks that fed the streets of Nottingham, Leicester. How does that not hurt your voice? I guess because I'm a fucking professional. I'm a professional fucking loser on the internet. I'm a wascally wabbit. Leicester. I'm from Nottingham and Leicester the molester. And Derby. Most funny people are also deep thinkers. I don't think I've ever had a deep thought in my life. Ah, fuck, it's almost 1 a.m. I gotta go to sleep, guys. I'm so sorry. I'll read this story tomorrow, but... anyways, I'm gonna get it all up on Patreon. First things first. It's only $1 a month over there for early access. But, yes. I will go ahead and get it up over on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there. Then I'll get it up on YouTube. It'll be up at 9 p.m. EST. Look out for Undercover Cop stories. It's very helpful if you watch it right when it comes out. It gives the video some velocity. Some view velocity. All these cool YouTube terms you guys need to know about. And yeah. Otherwise, I'll be back streaming, I guess, this Sunday, probably. By then, my TISM will be cured. I will have removed all the vaccines from my blood via bathing my asshole in the sun. And then if you want to be kept up to date when I go live, be sure to hit that notification bell, but also follow my Instagram at letsread.official. I just posted a video of Pradeep. It's pretty fucking awesome. And yes, kisses, good night, friends. Be well, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.